The truth behind illusion. When you are walking down a dark road, when you don't believe what you see, when your eyes deceive you and play tricks on you, when you see an unfamiliar face in the mirror, what do you do? The truth behind illusion.
Hey everybody,
Hello.
here we are.
Hola.
No live chat today, obviously, because we're not doing it live. Well,
Yeah.
for us it's live, for them
Fuck
it's
it.
not.
We're not doing it live.
Okay, we're not doing it live. If you are watching this, our camera angle is a little different today. I guess I can zoom it in a hair. But happy
One
Thanksgiving.
hair.
Happy
Two hairs.
Thanksgiving.
Maybe I'll go 2 hairs because we do have 2 hairs.
Two
today.
hairs.
Happy
Ghost.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy
You're watching this. It's Thursday.
Turkey Day.
Thursday or into
Ooh.
Friday, so Thanksgiving.
I will be passed out by
Yeah.
now.
On
Happy-
your
I'll be
chair.
Happy birthday to my grandmother.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, my second interview happened, and I aired it on Thanksgiving for her.
Nice.
Oh.
Aw.
So we are going to cover our experience at Gettysburg today. You have still a couple more days if you want to get merchandise. Everything is going. Everything. So new logos are coming. We do have our 2 brand new faces on our show coming soon. We're gonna cover more aspects. Nikolai's a god.
I am.
He's a god.
He
Thank you.
is.
Thank
One
you.
of
Well,
the best ones, actually.
I mean, look at him.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we'll have the new logo coming soon, and then everything after that will be kind of staggered. So we may bring out like an old logo to do like a week or 2 run of it, and if you want it, you can get it. And then after that, because we want to keep the merch page less cluttered because there's like 14 different shirt styles and stuff like that, which is cool because it has a lot of variety. But I just feel like the website doesn't do a good job separating things.
Yeah.
So you're going to a restaurant, the menu's too big?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Too many
That's-
decisions. to
That's
make.
literally what it is. So I'm trying to make it maybe a little easier, and then keeps people interested. If you are interested, to be like, oh, what's the new deal this month? You know what I mean? So we'll do that, and really excited for you guys to see the new stuff coming. Gonna be fun. I don't know if I don't know. Are we doing anything special for the Gettysburg trip?
We can.
It's up to you. I already hit you with like fucking everything else. So.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
We'll just add one more. What's one more?
What's one more?
What's one more to the 12 I have to do?
Keep
Make
my
it-
workload
Make it
up.
a spooky 13.
Yeah.
How about
That's
that?
If it-
yeah. Lucky number 13.
If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. Yeah, so we're gonna dive into the Gettysburg thing. I don't even know what episode. Usually when we're live, I have the episode title there, so I feel like that's delayed.
It
No,
is.
it's not.
That's
I don't know.
There's a
delayed.
little bit of
A
a
little
delay.
bit. Fuck it. I don't care. Yeah, I'm already stressed out. I always stress for the first 3 minutes of the show because I want to make sure everything's going well. Yeah. So what do I want to do here? Someone start us while I adjust the camera into how our day started and all that fun stuff. We'll turn to you, Tori.
So do we start with Gettysburg
I
or
was
do we
gonna
start
say
with the car ride?
I was gonna
Ah,
say-
yeah.
Let's start with the car
Coffee
ride,
butt.
shall we? This still smells like coffee.
Is that a bad thing?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not a
It's
bad
not a bad
thing.
thing. I just need to watch. Okay, so funny story to kick us off. So the entire first hour of the day was Tony bitching about how long it was taking for Heidi and Nikolai to get the coffees.
Valid.
It did take a while.
And so then I get picked up. I'm like, oh yes, I get coffee because I was like, I didn't make coffee because I was like, I'm just gonna have a Dunkin' coffee when I get in the car. So we meet everybody. It's a great time. Then we pull off, and then Heidi was yelling at Tony, and then Tony out of spite floored it, and Nikolai and I both saw it happen in slow motion, where that happened, and the lid just decided to just remove itself, and then the coffee just slow motion just splashed all over
Yep.
the back, and then also
So what's
on me and mostly on my butt.
What's important to know is it's one of those cup holders that fold down
From the
in the
center.
back seat.
Like a
So
center console.
yeah.
Mm.
So the fact that it flew out of that, separated into 3 separate parts before hitting the back seat, was
I couldn't breathe. I was
There was a
laughing so hard.
second gunman on the grassy
It was
knoll.
like there was like a 5-minute period where it was just all of us just screaming, and it was like before the coffee because they were screaming up front. I was screaming for some reason because I'm egging it
Was
on.
this between
and then-
Sheets and Turkey Hill? when we
Yes.
stopped?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then
he
literally
floored
that
it to
happened,
leave the parking lot, and it went.
and then like it was like a scream, and then like we figured out, and then he was like choking on his tea.
Oh my
So it was
gosh.
just like everything's really
Something
going
about
according to plan.
I know there's a little bit of pain involved, but sometimes
It was really funny.
people in a little bit of pain is funny.
Aw.
Like
Not coffee pain.
'Cause then I just
you
did
need
my-
that coffee.
coffee pain is funny. I'm sorry.
Not when you need it to wake up.
Sometimes a little hot coffee burn
That woke you up,
is
though.
funny.
It
right?
worked.
Yeah, because then who was it? Somebody I was like, should we stop again? I was like, no, I'm awake now.
I was like, Turkey Hill's right here. The whole time I was screaming, like, wait, where are we meeting? This is after they get back in the car after Duncan, right? They all get in the car, and I'm like, literally, I said, we pulled in. This entire parking lot was packed with people, and the drive-through line was packed.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do the drive-through line; it's gonna take too long. Exactly what I was told, right?
It
Get
would
the app.
She goes in. I park. Parking lot is filled. But I'm looking around. The parking lot is fucking a ghost town. There's not one car in the parking lot, and I'm like, they're still not out here.
Well, to be fair, there were about 13 people in line. Half of them got kicked out to wait outside.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes,
They only
because
allow-
there's not enough dots on the floor to
Yes.
match the people.
Yes.
Um,
Social distancing.
Then you had all the people who ordered on the app basically cut in front of everybody who was in line.
I seen 5 cars pull in and come
Yeah.
right back out, and I was
Yeah,
like,
because they ordered
The
on the
app's-
app.
That's
Yeah,
the
the
way
app
to
is
do it.
The best way to do
That's
it.
how I do it.
So now we know in the future.
Yeah.
We just did that the first time today.
yeah. So they get back in the car. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, right? So then when we started driving, she's like, where are we meeting them? Sheets? I was like, they fucking sell coffee in Sheets.
Yeah, we all went to different Dunkins and then met at Sheets.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, in hindsight, we could have just got to go.
I thought that's what we were going to do.
I
but-
thought so too. Yeah.
I had
would've
to get
ordered it
gas,
for
so
you
I
guys.
That would have been the smart move.
It was just like all of us white girls were like, Duncan, we're going to stop at Duncan. And then we probably just ruined the whole part.
Yeah, so that was the drive up.
It was beautiful.
It was entertaining. I aim to please, you know.
And then every like 15 minutes, Tony'd be like, I could smell that coffee. And I'd be like,
It's your fault. It's
So the
your
whole-
fault.
It's all over my ass.
The entire joke was Tori's ass smelled amazing.
It's not a joke if it's serious.
Yeah.
Like it
True.
really did.
Yeah, latte everywhere. It was good.
Observational humor.
Maybe this will help. That's why I actually drink my coffee out of a straw because their lids never stay on right. 'Cause
Yeah,
I've spilled
yeah.
it over myself
It-
multiple times.
It vanished.
now
It
I
was
have
like
a straw.
a space shuttle.
Clearly,
like,
they don't stay on.
like a space shuttle,
don't.
how it was just like.
Yeah.
Like-
They
These
used
lids
to be
always fall off.
magical though. Like I remember the one time I was going to work and I got me and my coworker like both large hot coffees from Dunkin', and on my way to work, like someone like cut me off and I had to slam my brakes on it. It tipped, but nothing out at
Really?
all.
Mhm.
The spill, it was on my
Wow.
floor on my passenger side, and I'm like, that's
That's
nice. But
magic.
now they must be. Well, they just switched to these
and
new
now
cups.
it's like
Yeah.
now like the
It's
second
like a
like the
flat-
cup gets
Oh, yeah, 'cause
anxiety,
it
it
was
like
a
abandons
Yeah, it's
itself.
a
It's
paper.
2020.
It's
allowed
2020.
to.
And those cups rub off in your hands.
That's
Do
the,
they?
That's the first
Yeah,
thing
they
that
go
I.
pink.
That's the
I
first
never
thing I
noticed.
realized too. Like it wasn't a good day for that coffee because like I had gotten and I was holding on to it and it was warm and I was just like touching and I was just like my hands are pink.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
So oddly enough, if you get a small, they give you a white cup.
Huh.
Oh.
All right. Well,
It
anyway,
doesn't-
Well,
that's
they're
weird.
just, I think they're just default that
that was
way.
our 10-minute coffee talk.
10-minute coffee talk.
Dude, we did that on Banging Beers the other
Yeah,
night
we
too.
did. Somehow I put your coffee lovers in a room and
We went on like a tangent because of the cold brew pumpkin.
Yeah.
Cold brew. So
Shut
nasty.
up,
So we
Maria.
get there. It's earlier. It's
I
earlier.
I
in
will
the day.
not be silenced.
Yeah. We get there earlier in the day. And I don't really know where we went. I'm not a Gettysburg guy.
Gettysburg.
Yeah, I know we went to Gettysburg,
Battlefield.
but like we went to a bunch of
Yeah.
different locations.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Gettysburg should do, especially if you're gonna do this like ghost tour thing, they should make. I just think it should be something going forward. Even with the COVID, it was kind of tough because no one can really be there. Make an app. Here's my suggestion, Gettysburg. Make an app.
They might have one.
Here's
I
the
was gonna say
problem.
they
What?
might.
I don't know.
Government.
Government.
It's
Um,
it's national park.
All right. Well, third
Yes.
party people make an app, right? And it'd be
Yeah.
like, hey,
there
this
might
is,
be one.
this is the driving spot you can go to. And then as you're pulling into your first spot, play the thing in your car and be like, oh, this is the first spot.
There is an audio tour, but I don't think it's ghost related.
No,
and
just
also-
history in
yeah,
general
I
would
think
be
there
cool.
is. I
And
think there might
also,
be,
like a
yeah.
couple hours ago, I literally just found out for the first time in my life that my uncle's best friend is a park ranger in Gettysburg, and he
Really?
could have given us an entire tour.
There's-
So the next
Oh.
time we go, I'm going to be contacting him.
Yeah.
That
Ghosts
sounds
of
fun.
Gettysburg Battlefield Tour. There is an app.
Oh, there is.
Oh, why
hey.
didn't we know
There really
this?
is
Why
an
did
app
we
for
go
that.
into this so
Whoops.
unprepared?
We really. I just thought my brother would like take care of everything, and then the drunker he got, like
He
the
just
worst.
like zipped off in
Yeah.
front of us.
Yeah,
We were
just
driving,
did
and
his
I'm like,
Bigfoot thing.
and I was just like, I made a joke. I was like, in their car in front of us, they're probably getting a full on experience, and we're we're in
No,
our
we
car
really-
talking about,
no, he did. We
We
did.
did,
We
we did get
did.
some. Yeah, we did
Yeah.
get some.
and we're in our
Yeah.
car talking about Tori's latte ass.
Well, I guess it depends which conversation you'd rather have.
Yeah.
That latte ass was fun.
It was a good combo.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say just from a paranormal experience, I would say overall, our trip was kind of a dud.
We saw those
Yeah.
rods. They
We did
spun.
We
so
saw
bad.
those rods.
They
We-
were spinning
we
around.
did meet a ghost hunting
Yes.
at
in broad daylight, though,
in
too.
broad. Well, here's my
You
theory.
never know. Yeah.
Why do ghosts have to wait till night?
I don't think they have to.
They don't, but I mean, it was like crowded and daylight. I don't think she's gonna catch anything with
And
Too
the
much
also-
rods.
disturbance.
They
Yeah.
did it right at the
Mhm.
wall. Like it would have been great to have a photo, like somebody
Right.
laying in the hole where they put that dead
Yeah,
body.
that's
Yeah,
it.
they were
and
kinda
it was just
talking
like,
get the
that.
fuck
And they were-
out.
all right.
Oh, we gotta take a picture. Like, can you guys move?
Yeah.
Like now.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. Glad for them. They did recommend some cool things that they do, and I have their card. I haven't gone and checked out anything they created yet, so I'll have to try to do that.
But
yeah.
they're actually
Is
watching
that the
this
card
right
you
now.
gave me?
And we just shit on them.
Whoa.
No, you were cool
We,
people.
we really liked you.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read the card?
Sure.
Bill and Lisa Hamill, paranormal investigators.
Yep.
They were very nice.
They
Very
were
nice.
very nice.
They said
Had some cool tools. I
Bill
felt.
Bill is the believer, and his wife, I guess, said she's the skeptic.
Yes.
Um,
They had their kids there too. I think.
yeah, I'm not sure who if that
Or
was
maybe
if there was kids or
relatives.
friends. I don't know.
Mhm.
I didn't dive into it. But yeah, so that we did see people doing paranormal stuff there. Once again, I think I was more in the experience of like, holy shit, I'm at Gettysburg. This is kind of cool type
I
deal.
just had a great time the
Yeah.
whole day.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I did-
Yeah.
it was just a
It was
fun
cool.
time.
It's like regardless of like, well, plus the history and like, but it's just a fun town.
It's a beautiful
Especially
day,
non
too.
like
Mhm.
COVID time, like it's even better.
But
Yeah.
even with COVID, I
Yeah.
think we still
Oh, I
got a
those
lot
pretzel
done.
bites
Yeah,
that
we
saved
did.
me.
the pretzel bite.
Yeah.
All those pretzel
Yeah.
bites.
Ghost stuff wise, they do have a lot of ghost tours. We did ours at night.
Mhm.
We did the which one did we do?
We did the Confederate hospital tour from the Farnsworth.
Was it
The Farnsworth.
supposed to be an adult tour?
It just said not for the faint of heart.
Okay, because there
Okay.
are adult
They
tours
didn't have
where
any.
they
They didn't have
curse
any of
and
the adult
things.
tours listed on the
Okay.
site. So
So we did this tour. Elderly gentleman, very fun guy, nice little
Yeah.
like pappy, like
He's
nice.
a pappy. Yeah, he was
Um,
nice and sweet.
Really cool tour. I don't know if it was a mix of just the whole day cold. You know, I do have body issues, so I'm just speaking from my perspective. By 9:30 at night, I was over it.
Checked out.
And that's when it started.
We were there
yeah.
all day
Yeah.
long. We did try to go and possibly try to do a tour at this haunted items, like haunted.
Yeah,
like,
it was that little
Yes.
museum, right?
like
Mhm.
like a Gettysburg version of the Warrens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
I've wanted to do that so badly, but you do have to get tickets like pretty far, like in advance. I think
Yeah,
Mhm.
they
in the
they,
day.
They tried to get us in for the 8, but we had dinner.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
should have done that though. Probably.
probably would've
instead
had
of-
time.
Yeah, I think that would
Yeah.
have been better.
Yeah.
right after
well,
dinner. We
it's
could've
not
done
like
it.
we can't go back.
Yeah,
Right.
It's
Yeah,
not, it's not like
exactly.
it's super far
What we
away.
can do I
Now
think-
that this is our trial run, and
Yeah.
now we
what
can
we
make a
can
list
do
of
is,
everything.
what we could do next time we go, like maybe we get it closer to the battle time because that might, be a spike then of
Yeah.
there might
Yeah.
be more
Mhm.
paranormal stuff around the actual battle.
That would be
days.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
We don't want to go to the battle exactly because it
Oh,
gets
why not?
jammed.
I still would. I still
I
think
would
it'd be
like to.
cool.
I mean, it'd be cool, like when they do all
4th
the
of July
reenactments and stuff.
weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets just so packed. But I
Yeah.
mean, we could. I don't care.
I'm down. I'm down for anytime.
It falls in the territory of me of Jim Thorpe, where
Mhm.
it's just, even if you're not a huge history buff, because I'm not a huge history guy. Like, I enjoy history, but I mean, like, we talked to people at the bar, the beer place. We were outside with the fire, and there was a reenactor dude there that I don't even know if he was doing anything, or
He
he
might
just
have been off duty.
I think he just was checking out, rocking his gear. And then another guy from California who flew from California to Pennsylvania just because he's a history dude.
Wow,
Him
that's
and your
awesome.
brother had like a whole talk about like Civil War and World War
Really?
One and Two guns. They were like
Oh yeah.
flexing their big dick energy on like,
Yeah.
I own a 4083.
Because he was trying to like get one of us to like ask him.
Oh, the
if it's
Confederate
this
guy.
gun or
I'll
What
give you
that
kind
$10.
of
gun.
gun did he
I'll
have?
give
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
$10 if you ask that guy if he has this
Richard
or
likes
this.
to
He
try
was
to throw
offering me
money
a
out as he gets
$1.
drunk.
Yeah.
Very hard man to take a photo of. He just moves.
Yeah.
No, but the drunker he got, the more pictures you can take of him.
Yeah.
Then.
Well, let me see that.
Yeah. I look good in that one. Send me that.
Yeah. So
He's trying to keep up his Bigfoot persona.
It's like barely photographical.
Yeah.
Whatever. Making up my own words again.
It's that Bree dictionary.
It's Adorby.
That's right.
Yes, Adorby.
We ate,
That's right.
we
Got my
ate
fourth
at,
word.
what was it, Freddy's?
Gettysburg Eddie's.
Eddie's. That's
Close
close.
enough.
That's close.
He's a baseball
I
player.
missed a little line. Just dropped the line on the bottom.
Like a Mitch Hedberg.
I love him. He's a good comedian.
F is just an E, but you take away a little line at the bottom.
if that was a candy, it would less chocolate for you. Yeah. So we went to Freddy's. Awesome food.
Eddie's.
Eddie's. Fuck it, you're Freddy's now. We went there. The food was awesome.
Good prices too.
Good prices.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, like I
absolutely.
went like however many drinks we had, and it was like $50.
Yeah.
That's
What?
nice.
Spent the first half of the day. We went for lunch at Fourscore.
Oh man,
Mhm.
that place. was
We're gonna be
great.
I'm not gonna go too much into Fourscore, but because we will be talking about that next banging beers. But
So good.
we had
Very
3 people who are not beer drinkers enjoy their beers
And
That's
buy
right.
beers.
and buy beers.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, Nikolai was buying them just because of pop culture reference.
Okay, well, to be fair, one was Back to the Future. I was
Yes.
walking around with that one no matter what.
Yeah, but I think you generally
happening?
like this
No,
one.
I did
Yeah.
generally like that, yeah, and that's why I just got it like as a 4-pack because I was like, we'll see.
All I
And-
know is I could have made a shit ton of money that day because I posted in like 2 or 3 beer groups I'm in, like the cans, and people were like, "How can we trade?" And I was like, "I'm a broke bitch, and I don't have enough money to buy a lot because I'm not." I guess like in those groups, beer buyers are like ballers,
Oh
like
yeah.
like Ben's of the world, where they'll be like, "Give me 3 cases of." So you know the thing Andrew walked out with.
Yeah.
A lot of people will go into those places and buy the 4 beers that we got, but 4 of those cases.
That's a
God.
lot.
And then what they
That's
do,
nuts.
It's
they-
expensive.
That'd be like
Mhm.
Yeah.
$700.
yeah,
was
but
gonna
they
say.
but they make their money back or they
Yeah,
do
trade.
trades.
Yeah, they
So
trade
they'll
or
they'll
will
say something
sell.
like, "Hey, Ohio or Texas, you have this beer I want. I have these really sought after beers in Pennsylvania," and then they FedEx them to each other, which is not legal. But I love the FedEx guy because he's a booze mule and he doesn't even know it.
Another
yeah.
Mitch.
Yeah, another Mitch Hedberg there.
Another Mitch.
But yeah, so a lot of people were hitting me up like, "Where can I get those beers?" I was like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't buy that many." So
Mhm.
it is what it is. But if you want to hear
They're
reviews, go to Bangin' Beers.
delicious,
Bangin'
though.
Beers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we ended up
Yeah.
like swapping a bunch of them around to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it was,
that's
like,
what we do
just between
because we
us.
are poor.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so
we all were
Well, that's
just
what the
everybody's
insects-
tasting them.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
hard to like. You can't just buy singles a lot.
Yeah.
No.
Like a lot, it bums me that a lot of places don't do mixes, especially
Mhm.
when they have like 3 or 4 different ones.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why you go to a group and then 2 or 3 people buy the ones they like, and then you just pop one off each of your 4-packs and trade them with your
Mhm.
friends,
Yeah.
and everyone gets to try. You make your own 6-pack.
Yep, basically.
Yep.
It's like Pokemon cards, but with beer.
With beer.
And it gets
That's
it
right.
fucks you up.
Untapped makes alcoholism fun again.
Yeah.
Gives you a little game to play. Yeah,
I
but
liked my beer. That was
Yeah.
the first time I had a beer.
I was
ever.
so proud of you, and like you came back with like the 4-pack. I'm like, oh
That's
my
right.
god.
Like,
My
"Oh,
baby
we got a
Yoda
beer
beer.
girl over
Yes,
here.
right.
we were in line and I seen the guy with the can, and I went, "Bree, there's Baby Yoda beer," and she's like,
I'm like, I'm trying them today.
prairie
I'm
dogged up.
trying 'em. Love my baby Yoda.
her posture changed. It was crazy. Yeah. So overall, that's pretty much like our experience. The ghost tour, like I said, it was entertaining, but I think a lot of it was dampered with COVID. Because I know you guys said before when you did the tour of that house, they took you up in the attic.
That was actually because it rained the time we were going to take that tour.
Oh, so
So
then
that
they were,
had
like, they were
nothing-
like, shit, we gotta
Yeah.
find something for these guys to do.
Yeah, so they basically like split the groups up and did like someone upstairs and someone downstairs because
Yeah.
it rained.
You should start doing
Okay.
that. I know you want to try to make
There
money.
was there
Split-
was
make
a,
your groups a little smaller and do
there
cooler
was-
stuff.
Yes,
there was
'cause
an
the attic was
option
amazing.
to go to the attic.
On this one?
Yes,
Well, why the hell didn't you pick it?
because this was supposed to be the awesome Confederate faint, not for the
Yeah,
faint
but the
of heart.
attic is the only place I've ever experienced anything. We have.
Yeah.
Because he did touch on that little boy ghost
Yeah.
in the Farnsworth.
Well, we'll get into that. I just
Yeah.
want. So yeah, the tour was fun. Little big, little cold,
Mm-hmm.
and
a lot of cold.
a lot of cold, and it was just I don't know. Like we walked the town all day to
Yeah.
then to rewalk our steps and hear like a story that I'm not saying it was terrible, but I think it was just I
It
think
was-
we were
We've
burnt
had
out.
much better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
from,
way
from
better.
that same
Way
company,
better.
we've had a lot better in the
Yeah.
past. And,
And
that's
I'm
what
not
like,
saying he's a bad
No,
dude.
he was
super
nice,
nice
very
guy.
nice,
He did
very
He's
great.
very sweet.
Yeah,
But for me, I just think my day
that's what
was
we're looking
spent.
for.
Yeah.
I think that
Mm-mm.
was geared more to like families.
Yeah.
The way he was telling the stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like kids.
Yeah.
False advertisement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Not for
Well,
the
I
faint
thought
of
it was
heart.
gonna be more like not so much adult, but more like
Gory?
gory.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Not for the when you're promoting Not Faint of the Heart and you get like a sweet Mr.
Like-
Rogers version.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
first,
What you
the
paid
first
for.
stop,
Mr. Rogers Halloween.
the first stop we met. What was it, Norris Hollow or something like that? Or I can't remember. The first place we went to on the battlefield, which is part of the first day. There was like the storyboard on the thing that told you about what was going on. There was like more gruesome
Scarier.
than because like it was about a guy who was like 19. He got his legs shot off with a cannonball.
Ugh.
And-
Almost shot off.
Yeah,
It was
almost shot
insane.
off with a cannonball. He cut the rest of his leg off with a pocket knife before he died.
Yeah.
I mean that is more
Baller.
hardcore.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
at 19.
I'm gonna dub it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
he's
I did that
19, and
shit.
with his like dying wish, he gave his last canteen of water to another soldier.
Which was so nice.
Holy
I
moly.
know.
Jeez.
But we got
Cheers.
Paul or whatever his name is.
Yeah, we got-
Oh
Paul
my
and
God.
his wife, whose name I'm forgetting.
Oh yeah.
Pam?
Sure.
Of
Piece
course
work.
it is.
Paul and
Yeah.
I
Pam.
think it was something like that. Because we're like, really?
They both start with
Huh.
a P.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, very sweet guy.
Very nice
Paul
guy.
and Paula.
We did scout out ahead. We will go back and hopefully, if we can reach out to some places and be like, hey, we do, like, 'cause, like the two of the places we reached out to, or a few of the places like people I talked to, I was like, hey, we'd love to come back, and it was like, cool, we'll book a day and we'll do. I'm like, "No, listen, that whole booking the thing is a great. Like, we're not trying to get your tour for free. But if we
Mhm.
book a 7 o'clock thing and you want us to record a podcast, we're a little more in depth than just coming in with our phones. I don't know what other podcasters you've had, but like we're a little more legit. You know what I mean? Like we'd have to come and scout it out. But like they were like, oh, we'll come and book a tour at 7, and then we'll do the podcast, and then you'll be out by 8, and we'll do the next tour. And I was like, there's no way.
There's there's
It's
no
not
way.
happening.
Yeah, not happening. So I was like, we're saying if the Jim Thorpe, where they kind of were willing to stay a little after hours and hang out with us and let us do it, we would need more something like that.
Mhm.
So this way we're not rushing it,
Yeah.
because we talk a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, we
but
do.
Yeah.
so maybe in the future we can go back and do Jim Thorpe, not Jim Thorpe,
Gettysburg.
and have experience more things and stuff. But I would 100% recommend, if you're into that stuff, go. So I think overall, paranormal wise, we didn't really have anything too much to explain paranormal. We took the tour. It was kind of like we said it was. It was what it was. We went in as a podcast team to try to experience anything without telling people or getting that behind the scenes or exclusive or
Yeah.
like the Jim Thorpe experience where we got to do the prison. Like
Mhm.
it's like if we went and did the Jim Thorpe prison, hung out all day and did that tour and dipped, we'd probably be having the same experience as we had as Gettysburg. To be honest, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will say the one weird thing that did happen to me, and I've told you guys about it, but it was before the tour. We were all standing in the group getting ready to go, and I remember just kind of like looking down, thinking that like I did something and like my shoe came untied, and I remember looking down and I'm like, no, dummy, you put a double knot in, whatever. And then one of the stories that he then told was that a spirit like unties shoes,
Yeah.
and I was just kind of like,
You had
oh,
someone-
that's
you felt,
pretty
you,
fucking
you possibly
weird.
felt someone tugging on your shoelaces.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
and it could have been anything, but it was just the
Was
fact
that in
that
the Farnsworth?
no,
That
it
was
was
right
outside.
outside.
Right outside.
But that's probably right where that Jeremy.
Yeah.
And it was
killed.
one of those
Yeah.
things where it was like enough for me to go, oh, I have to check my shoelace, and then later on to find out that story, and I was just like, maybe.
Yeah, interesting.
But
And
that's
then-
that's pretty much all I got. But
I didn't mean to cut you off.
no,
I'm
you're
sorry.
good.
I'm sorry. I thought you
No,
were done.
I'm done.
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
So
yeah.
what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go around because I know Bree, Rich, Andy, and Nicola here have had previous experience at Gettysburg's,
Yes.
and she has a book of some cool stories. So we'll start. I guess we'll start with Nicola here, and we'll kind of work backwards because then you can read from your book.
Sure.
And we'll kind of talk about some of the paranormal things you can experience at Gettysburg or past experience that you guys had.
Okay. So one of my favorite places when I visit Gettysburg is the orphanage. I don't remember the specific title of the orphanage, but some of the stories that go with it was that the lady who owned it wasn't very nice to the kids, and like there, especially this particular one that like the whole town loved, and one day he kind of just disappeared. And she would have these kids like tied up to the horse post outside,
Ugh.
and like one of their punishments at one point was like sleep in the outhouse in the middle of winter and that kind of stuff. So they in the past had brought like paranormal investigators down into the basement where they do tours and whatnot. And there was evidence, or like they were trying to find out, like for instance, like that kid who disappeared, was he buried in the basement, kind of thing, because there was no body ever found or anything. So when I took the tour, we were down in the basement, and since it was an orphanage, we brought a bag of toys and stuff with us. And we kind of left it on the bench, and it was like on the opposite side of the room. And we were off, like kind of exploring down there, and we heard some kind of noise, and we looked over, and the bag is just thrown on the floor. And we're like, okay, that's
I
interesting.
thought they were dumping it out. They could
Yeah.
play with it.
Then
I love children.
Or they hated your fucking tours.
Yeah.
maybe they did.
Cheap.
I don't know.
asshole.
Those are bullshit toys.
We've been dead fucking 300 years. We know Dollar
gonna
General
bring-
bullshit we
I was
said.
gonna say, you're gonna bring some dollar store shit.
And these kids play with wooden nickels and puddles.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is probably an upgrade.
Lincoln Logs. Anyway.
Then the chains that were down there that blocked off part of it started like swinging back and forth on us, which I mean that could have been caused by a few things. But I was recording down there on my camera, and I'm just kind of like moving the camera around, and in this one part of it, there were these two eyes that floated up into the screen, stared back at me for a good couple seconds, and I stopped moving at this point.
Yeah.
And then they kind of just went off.
Shit.
And I tried so hard to find like a screenshot of it, because I know we've made prints of it and stuff just to be like, oh, this is what happened. But it was such a cool experience, whether or not it was actually something paranormal or not.
That's still really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was,
Very.
so I don't know. I was really impressed with the orphanage in the past.
I definitely want to do the orphanage.
Yeah, it's funny. We never have.
We've never done the tour of it, but we've definitely
No.
creeped around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you still have the video?
See, that's what I was looking for. It was on an
It
old
erased
camera,
itself.
and it's on like an SD card.
The demon was like,
somewhere.
not today.
I just have to find out where that is.
All right. Well, if you ever do come across it,
Yeah.
we'll post it
Yeah,
on
that'd be
our,
sweet.
Yeah.
on our. I don't know if you guys got the message too with the group with the pages. If you have something to post, if you download that business app thing, it will take your posts and put them on Instagram too. If you do the double share thing, but it will, if you try to tag people, it won't allow you to post because the tagging's different on Instagram and Facebook. So you just kind of have to write in at this place and then just shoot me a message like, hey, can you fix the Instagram post? And I go and fix the tag, and then after you repost it, just edit it, and you can do that. We were messing around with it at Fourscore.
Yeah, because it wouldn't let me tag Fourscore
Yeah.
in the actual Instagram post.
Yeah.
So.
So if you come across posts and stuff, you can put them on the page, and then after you do it, then share it to the like page. Yeah. So if you try to reshare an article, obviously it's not going to work on Instagram, but like if you find like a cool thing or a write up or something like that, it'll all work.
So I do have one other story.
Go ahead.
So we were taking, I don't remember what ghost tour it was, but we were out and about, and I was kind of just like looking around, seeing if I could see anything. And the streets were pretty dead at this point, and I looked down slightly down the street, maybe like a block or so, and I see this Confederate soldier starting walking down the street. And there was a group of houses, and it turns as if it was like going into the house, but no lights, no door noises, no nothing. It just kind of disappeared. So I always wondered if that was something, or if that was one of the reenactors that kind of just like looped around back of a building somewhere. But it was just so weird that like you didn't hear any like noises of like a gate opening or anything.
Yeah.
He just kind of was gone.
Some
Man.
reenactments like I'm
Yeah.
gonna fuck with this kid.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
I would if
Yo,
I
I would
could.
totally do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
That
made
would be
we made a
amazing.
joke. I think me and you were walking ahead, and we're like, "There's a guy." We walked by like a Civil War reenactment, and he's like, "No, look at that guy. He's in Africa." I'm like, "Is he really there?"
Like, what guy? What guy are
Yeah,
you
you
talking
kept
about?
doing that to me the whole time. I'm like, I don't know.
I think he actually said, "We should tell Rich that there's." Do you guys? She goes, "Look at the guy." Like, what guy? Like,
Then we started doing it like, oh, look, those nice people having a picnic over there. I'm like, what people?
Half the time it
And they're
works
just like
too, 'cause
wearing
I'm so
North Face
gullible.
jackets.
Yeah. The interesting thing about this, and I would, if you are a history person, or you can maybe reach out to your brother, he may know better. But like when they kept saying like, the Union troops would come in and just take over your house or take over a business or and like they were hiding in the basement. Were they hiding, or were they like, because like if this was today's time, right, and we had a civil war, I don't feel
When
like
we have a
next
civil
week.
war.
Yeah.
Next week?
So like,
coming.
so like in 2 weeks,
Yeah. Mark your
obviously
calendars.
they were at war, right? But there was still some line of respect or like rules. But like realistically, if we had a civil war and it was right versus left or whatever it may be or whatever it would be, if someone like commandeered our house, they're killing us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't think that was
Yeah, but
the
no,
case.
they would
Yeah.
like Confederate or
Mhm.
Union, like both would like occupy a house but not disturb the family.
Right.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure they did to a
Oh yeah,
degree,
to a T, but
I
not
mean, yeah,
like,
like, get
not
your
like
house shut
bind
off
them up
for-
and throw them in a crawl space.
Yeah,
or
like
because I guess
something.
what
Yeah.
else? What's your choice? Let them
Yeah.
hang out, or
Right. But to be fair, technology has changed so much
Yeah.
where it's like those soldiers may try to come in now, like if something were to happen like
Yeah.
this in present day, there could be a guy with a machine gun behind the door and say,
Mhm.
no.
right?
Yeah.
You got 100 guys with muskets saying, we're going to use your house. You have
Sure.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, see you guys.
Yeah.
We're going.
Yeah, it's just really interesting to me that like they would just take over things and like the people would be like, well, I guess we're getting shot at today. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's
And like
that's-
all the stories just seems like everybody was just cool with it. Like
Mhm.
people are
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
kind
I
of
mean,
like,
what
yeah,
else
they
are you gonna
came
do
in and
about it?
commandeered. And
Well, I
then
mean, a
it's
lot
just
of
what
the
they did.
fighting, like there were
They baked
skirmishes
bread
and stuff
for them.
in the town, but like a lot of it was just more so on the like outskirts, like with the actual battlefield. But there was like little bits of urban combat because like one of the stories we'll talk about then is with the Farnsworth was like a sharpshooter spot for Confederate.
Yes.
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
the weird thing here too is like how we always have like people. I may be taking a shot here, so if you're offended or triggered, sorry, you're weird. Like we have people who live in the northern parts of Northeast Pennsylvania or
with their
Pennsylvania,
rebel
and
flags.
they wave rebel flags, and they've never been down south. Like,
Nope.
maybe on like
No.
vacation they went to Disney. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's it.
but they wave their. I'm like, you realize they were
Listen,
against a lot
They're
of.
Dukes of Hazzard fans. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Buy some Daisy Dukes and get over it.
Yeah.
Put that flag down.
racist.
Get rid of your
You
flag.
just ruined the illusion, Tony.
Just the farthest south they've been has been Tower City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowhere else.
So it's just like if
I
that
never understood that.
like if
I
the
don't
South
either.
was like we're gonna rise again, like they would do all right in Pennsylvania. Like you need a house, brother.
Pennsylvania, man.
Yeah.
Rish and I we were driving to Jim Thorpe not too long ago. We were driving through like Lansdale, and I'm like, I saw at least like 8 Confederate flags hanging from like houses,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I didn't know Lansdale was a real Confederacy spot.
What happened is the Union came and they were just like teaching their kids later on, like they were nice guys. I like their flag; it's colorful.
That's such a beautiful flag.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
For those colors.
It's just interesting to me. I don't know, like how you were saying, like when they tell the history of it, it's just like it's cool. Like kind of
Yeah.
like when they were like you learn about history of like World War II or World War or any war. It's very like they're like, yeah, a guy got shot, but we live in a society now where people get shot every day. Like,
So desensitized.
like just the
Mhm.
media already is like, yeah, 14 people killed today, and like a school shooting. We're like, huh, again, cool. Anyway,
Yeah.
what are we doing later? Dinner? All right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so we hear these stories of war, and it's like, no, these people like were forced to live in the basement with 100 dead bodies. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So
Like,
yeah,
sad.
that's one of the stories that he
And-
told us.
You know what's interesting about these stories too? It's like some of the buildings still have the bullet holes and stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like going through history, we destroy everything. So what
Mhm.
back then was the mindset to be like, this is going to be history someday. We need to keep those holes.
Yeah.
Very good
Like,
question.
why wasn't it ever patched up or anything like that?
It's
That's
Like,
a good,
yeah.
that's a good
I mean,
point.
I'm glad they're there
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and all that, but like today we're in this mindset of it's too old. Let's knock it down,
Well,
rebuild, whatever.
Last time we were there was
That
someone that we
vanishing
were
of
talking
history.
to like alluded to the bullet holes in the Farnsworth not being real.
Really?
That's ridiculous.
But that's the first time I've ever
was
heard.
that?
It was one of the. I think it was the tour that we went on that day.
Mm.
But like he was like, oh yeah, people want to make it think it was real. But that's the first time ever since
Never
going
heard
to
that before.
Gettysburg in my entire life that someone alluded to the holes. I mean, if they're not, they're not. But
Right.
I mean, what would be the point of?
Even like
Yeah.
the baker's house, that
Yeah.
lady who made the bread and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what made her like? Obviously, we know about her now, but like at the time, it was like, why did her house still survive
Yeah.
in a way, like, and
Mhm.
become a historical piece?
Well, was
Like,
it-
who
was-
made that decision?
Was
Jenny
was
Wade.
it so much her
Yeah.
house, or we just sat there because the statue of Lincoln was there? Because we didn't go to her house. We sat in the
Well, I've been to her house in the past.
Oh, okay.
I think we sat there because she was bringing the bread to
To
where
the-
that
from her
hospital
house.
was.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing too.
Or her sister's
so like
house, I think it
she's
is.
from
Mhm.
Gettysburg. She was a local person.
Mhm.
Now you are a local northern person who is essentially you're not being a traitor, but
Okay, bye.
kind of are. You know what I mean? Like here's people, regardless of what or why you believe the Civil War happened, because they wanted workers'
Mhm.
rights. We know what they mean by workers' rights.
Yeah.
Workers'
Um,
rights.
Workers' rights, so they don't have to work.
Mhm.
But like if you're living up north, because here's the thing too, when it comes to like Civil War, and I know it history does repeat itself. Andrew, there's on here. History does repeat itself. A lot of people think just the North was the greatest place to be if you were a person of color or black because you're free. The truth behind that is a lot of people in mining town didn't want black people to come up here either because they're like, well, we're gonna lose our jobs. And sad to say, a lot of Irish were like, yo, we're just now getting to the point where we're
Yeah.
not being
Yeah.
murdered.
Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
I won't repeat the quote, but in Gangs in New York, they talk about it's like what the Irish would do that African Americans would do, but like a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So it's like there's like a whole stigma in the North.
So
too.
like
yeah.
Yep.
how the fear thing
Like,
is
still
like,
marginalized.
we
Yeah.
don't want people from like southern countries like Mexico and stuff like that,
Mhm.
or Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico coming here because they'll take jobs at a lower wage. That was a lot of the fear of the North, that if we allow them all to come up, if we allow them to come up here, you're going to have that. I mean, everyone's my theory. My thing is everyone's entitled to a shot at life. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it sucks that they have to come up here, and that's the mentality because rich
Well-
keep rich and poor have to keep fighting each
Yeah.
other.
Mhm.
So
That's
they
exactly
they
what it
come up here,
is.
and the rich people are like, fuck it, I'll give that guy a job and fire 14 people.
Mhm.
But then the 4 people are fighting each other and not going after the guy who's not fucking giving them the equal pay.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Mhm.
So that statement might be why she brought the bread. 'Cause
Maybe.
a lot of those soldiers weren't necessarily there for whatever. Like they were kind of forced.
Right.
A lot
Yeah.
of them. It wasn't
Yeah.
just like today where it's like, oh well, it was all like a draft
Yeah.
in a way where it's like,
Mhm.
okay, we're
Yeah.
fighting now. Get out there.
And some slaves were forced to fight too.
right.
Yeah.
So it's
Mhm.
like
So imagine being a northern person and you're in the war and you come across a troop and you're in a gunfight and you look across and you see a bunch of black faces. You're like, we're fighting to free you.
Yeah.
And now I have
Yeah.
to I have to shoot you. Like that's like
That's
and
so
that's the
fucked.
things that
Imagine.
like I feel like a lot of times that we didn't get in a lot of this history lessons when you get it, because that's the stuff that like the
Mhm.
orphanage. We're
Mhm.
talking like that orphanage probably wasn't wartime orphanage. That was probably kids who lost their parents, had nowhere to go, and then had to go to an orphanage, and that was their lives for years and years after this war happened.
Mhm.
Because when something big happens, there's a ripple effect that
Mhm.
takes place for many years after.
Yeah.
And that's where we talk about the energy and the history of why these spirits and things may be restless because of that. So it is a lot of that stuff is like when you do more research and look into what actually went down during this war and this, like you're walking through a city now that's like a nice little local shop business, which is really, really cool. And they keep everything kind of local for the most part. And it's just like, then you think back like, holy shit, like people died in these streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing that always blows
A
my mind
lot.
about that.
Yeah.
Just seeing like how beautiful the town is and the battlefield itself, and then just if you
Just,
could
like,
flash
yeah.
back.
Walking the battlefield, just like
Yeah.
wow, like because it was such a beautiful day, and everybody's
was.
just like we're just excited to be there, and the monuments and everything, and then you're just like, shit.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think
oh,
like it's
damn it.
weird too because it's like a little farming community, but they didn't really expect the battle to come that far north because we were talking about this with her brother yesterday that like basically after like Chancellorsville in Virginia, like Lee decided to push north to try to take like resources and stuff, and try to like if he thought that they already had like a suit for peace, like if they would have taken Gettysburg. I believe that's what he
Yeah, that's what
said.
he
So that, like if they would have won the battle at Gettysburg, they would have actually tried to have like an armistice at that
Well,
point. But like there was more of like a morale type thing. But it's like, oh, if he took this Pennsylvania town, and that was like the farthest north battle besides Fruit Farms.
Farms.
There was an armistice there.
Yeah,
That's true.
But like that was like the northernmost battle. Like there hadn't been a like with that victory in Chancellorsville. Like he just like let's do it. And then like
Kinda
the
like-
war could have been ended.
Kind of
too
like
if,
Germany
they
trying
just-
to take Russia. It
Yeah.
ended up being
Yes.
their downfall.
Yeah, we're like, well, Russian winner. That's not a good idea, Hitler.
Yeah. I don't know.
But-
It's interesting.
Plus, like just like the strategy portion of it is like, I mean, hopefully it never actually happens again. But like civil wars are much more brutal than any other wars that are out there.
yeah.
Very true.
Brother versus brother.
And you don't like
Sad.
you
Yeah.
get like World War II and stuff, but like you never really hear like a lot about like the Spanish Civil War and stuff in
Yeah,
Spain.
it's-
or, like,
it's
the
interesting
Mexican
bec-
Civil War. Like there's bloody battles.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Mhm.
the thing too is like a lot. I know like the joke now is like, oh, we're coming close to another civil war. It's like, before you do that, man, just research your own civil war's country and realize the fucking damage it does.
Yeah.
And how like
Let's not make this one a meme, maybe.
Because it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
gonna be you sit on a hill and have a picnic while they stand in a line and shoot each other.
No.
Your houses are gonna be bombed.
This will be
and all that.
Burned down.
Yeah.
People are going to
Drone
die
attacks.
and be tortured.
It'll be like real life Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That all of the Call of Duty boys are not going to be ready for.
Yeah.
It's just
Even the Boogaloo boys are not going to be ready for.
have a conversation first. I'm sure you can get a lot more resolved.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you guys have some experiences.
Yeah, we've been going down for a long time.
Oh God, yeah.
Well,
Since
I-
we started dating.
Actually, I realized I didn't do something other. So obviously, if you're on the network a lot, Andrew, Bang and Beers podcast, and
You're
then this
weird
is
when
his-
you call me Andrew, man.
all right, Andy, Andrew,
Yeah.
Mr. Hare, and then his wife,
Mr.
Ri-
Hale.
Yeah, and then his wife Rish is hanging
Mr.
out
and
with us.
Mrs. Hale.
Yeah. So this
We
is
finally
part
got her on one.
of, this is kind of our
Yay.
other.
Trying to talk her into coming to a Bang and Beers, but she wouldn't do it.
Maybe I will then.
Oh.
But this is like what I know more of.
Yeah. Well, Bang and Beers, you don't need to know anything. Just
Yeah,
come and
just
drink.
drink
You're
beer.
like,
Yeah.
Just come
like
and
this,
drink
don't
beer.
like this. It's actually
And
the
it-
easier show to do.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
literally had people on like, it's
Come on the
beer.
Foursquare episode.
This beer is
Yeah.
good. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you get bored, just go play Lady. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I never came back.
And
Not
as,
good.
as in bored, he means blackout.
No. I went to the bathroom and I saw a lady.
hammered.
And, no.
That's definitely a drunk
Aw.
move. Like
He
you
was
see
hammered.
the
I
dog.
was like, there's
forget
the
it.
dog. See ya.
Yeah.
At least didn't like Billy Trey it though. Like
He was
throw water all
he
over
was
the
turning
table.
he was turning into Billy Trey. And he,
That's
and
an
he,
insult.
And he
Great.
and he felt it because he was laughing a lot and like, he was
Yeah.
like having a real good, and he was like feeling it, and you could see like in his head because he still has a like, I have to be careful because I want to have
I mean,
a
I'm
future.
still conscious.
Yeah,
so-
right. So he was just like, I'm getting fucked up, and he just backdoored us live on camera.
That's
Aw.
probably like a smart move though.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, yeah.
And then Heidi's texting me. She goes, I think Nikolai's really drunk. She goes, why? She goes, he's up here on his back in the hallway laughing, playing with a lady.
I'm sorry. You put a dog in the equation. I don't care how many beers you got.
Yeah.
The lady's the best.
That's a
Yeah.
great.
And,
such
and
a
the
cool
cool thing about our network, and the thing that makes me the most proud of our network, is how we all not just podcast together, but we just hang out and cool and do things and plan trips like that, and have
Yeah.
stuff in the future planned. Hopefully, when this whole COVID ends, like it is kind of like a little family. It's fun.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
mean, yesterday was
Yeah.
like it was like, yeah, we went down for the podcast and stuff, but also because Gettysburg's fun, and then like we
Yeah,
like
we
have,
just
like,
all
the-
got to
we have the-
bond
and we have
together.
that-
No, I
Yeah.
love that.
and we have the bang and beers side of it too. So
Yeah.
it's like
It was such a nice, like, drama-free day, just easy,
yeah.
breezy.
Yeah.
It was beautiful outside until it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah,
It got
very
cold
cold.
quick.
So that's one of the things when I
Cold
post
got-
on like podcast promotion groups and like how many people you have in your podcast, and I say 6, and they're like, why so many people? I was like, because I like to podcast with my friends. Like that's the reason I
I
started
like to
this.
play with my
Sweet.
friends
I like to play
sometimes.
with my friends and we like to go spooky places.
We like to go talk to ghosts and
we
drink
get-
alcoholic
and we get
beverages.
really, really drunk and I wear West Wing t-shirts. But yeah, so yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Back to your story.
So, like I said, we've been going on a long time. We love doing the ghost walks. There's some very, very entertaining ones out there, but we've done a lot. There's a lot of stories that we can kind of like touch on a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Well,
where do you want to start?
the Farnsworth one, I think,
Farnsworth?
since we were there. So we
Take the
actually.
lead.
Okay, great. First podcast, take the lead. Yeah, it wasn't because of COVID that we went up in the attic that time. It just started pouring.
Yeah.
So they took us in the basement first, I think,
Yeah,
and
so
then
we
the
were in
attic.
basement, and then we went to the attic instead of walking around town.
Yeah, and the attic was pretty cool. What was
Yeah, they have a
I think
bunch of
Heather
like
was
they have a bunch of like memorabilia up there, like some like relics and stuff. Like
some
they have, like
benches.
there's some guns and like Confederate belts and Union belts and like different artifacts from the battle.
And I think there was like benches, right, that we were
Yes.
sitting on. And Heather was with us.
Yeah.
I don't think he felt anything.
No.
But we were hearing the story about Jeremy, who was Jeremy or Jeffrey, I don't know.
Jeremy.
It was Jeremy.
Jeremy. This kid apparently like, was a game that they would play with. They would like hit the
Yeah.
horses
Slap the horse.
and then try to get away from them.
I guess you were the horse in this story.
in every story. And like he couldn't get away.
Yeah,
he
you
got
got
hit.
booted.
Yeah. So they took
Jesus.
him into the Farnsworth, and as I think our tour guide
He
did tell us
touched on
that.
it, but he didn't really
He
like
died
talk
there.
much about it.
Yeah.
And they say his spirit still haunts there.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
he's
there's
little
actually a room.
bastard.
Yeah. Well, actually, before I was reading that somebody was in Jeremy's room, and Jeremy like threw their iPod and stuff all around, and he's kind of a little dick.
They
Yeah.
said, the one tour we used to go to would tell us that he would tie like you were saying about
Yeah.
your shoes earlier.
Yeah, the
He would tie
shoelaces.
people's shoes together
That's
Or
your
shoelaces.
untie
Oh
them,
yeah, he's done.
No,
Yeah.
but like tie
Yeah,
them
or
together.
tie
So
'em
when you
together.
get up and you fucking fall on your face.
That's
you would
crazy.
be Jeremy if you died
Oh.
as a little kid.
I'd be
you'd
Jeremy now.
Yeah, you'd be Jeremy now.
Very mischievous.
Yeah.
He does it. He likes to do it when you're
Yeah.
carrying spaghetti too.
Yeah.
Always Sunny reference.
Yes.
Well, we were up in the attic, and it was, I think, two of my other friends who are, one's a teacher, and then the other one, she loves kids. So they said the whole time they were feeling tugging on them. I don't like kids, so he left me alone. Like, I felt nothing.
I'll curse a ghost
Yeah.
kid out.
Get the
Aw.
Jeremy.
See, I'm that asshole that's just kind of like, you guys can hang out with
Mm-mm.
me.
Yo, tug my shirt one more time. You thought that horse kick hard. a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. He
Son.
was not drawn to this bitch. But we were sitting there, and they were telling the stories about the snipers and how, they were like,
Yeah,
get
basically,
shot.
like they'd have like a sharpshooter in the attic window, like that had like a vantage point across town. This is actually where they think Jenny Wade got shot from too.
Oh.
We could talk about then, but like when one would get like shot,
yeah.
they just drag his ass out and stick a new one in, and leave the body stacked up
Just
in
so
the.
sad.
Can you think of
Very
this
sad.
too? I know we kind of alluded to in our tour. He alluded to the church, the one the church turned into a hospital. So you take like 5 or 6 bodies and you stack them on top of each other, and they have holes in them.
Yes.
And they're bleeding.
Yep.
Like, if you have enough water or liquid come
Yeah.
through something, you're you're like, oh man, like
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then they're like, war's over, you can have your house. You're like, what the fuck?
What did you do?
Yeah, seriously.
Who's gonna clean this up?
You're like, we're going back south.
It's rolled out.
We lost. See you later.
But yeah, but that's, I guess, what they would just pull them over and
Yeah, they
kind
were
of
just-
pile them up.
A new
Mhm.
guy would go in until he got shot.
But so when we were hearing that story, this door, I would say probably about this thick wooden door.
It was a really, really heavy like oak door.
Yeah.
Going to the attic.
And that cracked open just enough for
That
like
wasn't
a
even-
kid to come through. Not an adult or like me. You know, like somebody tiny.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that. Like while we're talking, like it's an old house, so I mean this can
You
probably
hear
be
it.
explained. But we
you
hear
heard-
when
yeah.
we're sitting there, we hear in the hallway, like because it's an attic step. Oh, here's,
And it was like twisty too. Yeah.
and then the door just kind of slightly opens.
Yeah.
Nope.
So here's
That's
here's a
awesome.
suggestion, just maybe as a podcast team, if we can like maybe start like a little thing amongst ourselves, like every so much throw like a little money in the pot, and then maybe in like 2 or 3 years when it gets heavy, like but we have to plan it ahead of time because obviously if we go open a bigger group we have to rent more out. But like we rent the Farmsworth house to
Yeah.
stay in for the night,
Oh, that'd be. I was actually,
I
I was
would
literally
love
just
that.
gonna say that.
or
Yes.
Yeah.
even bigger. Because this one you're gonna have to book out like probably 3 or 4 years, and then you're like, okay, but we'd have to fucking pay for it as well. But like, what if we rent out the fucking house in I just literally as I was saying Lizzie Borden house.
Oh my
I
Oh,
would-
god.
yeah, I would do
Yes,
that.
yes, yes,
That would be
yes,
the best.
yes,
I'm
yes.
dying to
There's,
go there. I've never
outside
been.
of Gettysburg too is the Cashtown Inn, which is
Oh,
like
yeah.
supposed to be like one of the most haunted hotels in the country.
Yeah, there's
I'm
supposed to be like
ready.
a decapitated head that people see in the basement.
Because if we rent out the entire Lizzie Borden house and we rent out the entire like
I'll be
Farmsworth house,
dead.
they're really
the
not going to be
Amityville-
like, you
Amityville
guys are too
house.
loud because we're not disturbing any other guests because it's just
Right.
us. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
we rented the whole house. We're going to use the dining room real quick and record something.
That would be
That would be
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
That'd be something.
I'm
I
And
like.
they'd be more
down.
inclined to do it because like, fuck it, they paid for it. They're here.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
Yeah, I
am
was literally just
down
thinking
for
that. Like,
that.
we could like see about renting the farms because there's not many rooms.
Yeah.
And
No,
it's
there's
honestly
really
the
not.
prices aren't really that bad for a night either.
Yeah.
And there, stuff happened. Like I've stayed in Gettysburg in different houses, like for the last couple of years, and nothing. I haven't felt anything. Nobody has. So
Well, your one house was like what, half a block up from the farmer's house? You guys
yeah,
did?
yeah.
Was that anything weird there?
That's the one we
No.
tried to book for our original stay.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh,
then it was like
okay.
a 2-night minimum.
Well,
Oh,
my
yeah.
my
Oh,
and it
one,
was
yeah.
very expensive.
yeah, my one friend said she heard whistling. She's actually Melanie. She said in the attic in the Farnsworth when she got up there. This wasn't with us, but she said her feet just felt like they were on fire.
Interesting.
Yeah, and she's a skeptic, but open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's the only other person I can think of that had anything there besides the woods. I was trying to get you
Oh,
over
Oh
to.
yeah, I want to go see
Ah.
Elizabeth so
Or
bad.
the
So
farm. Yeah, we'll
scared.
talk about her in a moment too. But like the Farnsworth too. There's a story. I'm like, they used to do an adult tour where it was more of like
Everybody was naked.
it was a lot of comedy stuff. But like the guys they
just saying the
curse
F
and they get a little
word.
bit more vulgar and stuff. But like there was a story of like I can't remember. They never say the guy's name. They won't tell you his name or
They
anything.
won't. No.
But like it's apparently like some spirit that like hates women. that has like some vendetta against women.
Not from the 1800s, right?
Mm.
They all
But
love
like
women.
like certain ladies would feel like
They
aggression when they're
Yeah.
in the basement, or
think
like
he's
something
actually
like
pushed them.
not safe, or like getting pushed, or like like
but there was
we
also
call him Sean Connery.
there was also I think girls that went on that tour knew that story and
Yeah,
would
and, like,
try
try
to
to invoke it.
antagonize him too.
Yeah.
Which
To the point where
is-
like they won't tell.
Look
their
at
name
this. You will
anymore.
never get
Yeah.
this. You
You
will
will
never
never
get
get
this.
And then
But then
And
he
he
learned
got
it,
that.
and he
He
got,
got
it.
Look at me. I'm wearing actual clothing. There's nothing you can do about it. I have a full-time job. I can vote now.
I can vote.
You just smash the
But
shit
yeah,
out
they
of
would
the
never
pew.
tell the name, because apparently when they used to tell the name, then you'd have like certain ladies that would want to antagonize him.
And then they
How
would
are
call
these
him by name.
ladies?
regretting it.
It would probably be me.
Oh, you're that lady, and I'd be the
But
lady
fuck
like,
you.
"Bye, here.
Come on, Bob.
I'll meet you outside, Tori, when you're done." I'll
Hi,
be in the
Bob. Look at
bathroom.
my I just voted sticker.
But then there's another tale though. The adult one told you that like they were talking about a husband and wife that were staying in one of the rooms the one night, and I guess in the middle of the night he started feeling something going on. And he was having a good time, and then he rolled over, realized his wife was still asleep.
A succubus.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what Heidi is. A succubus.
So like he was getting like
She
a
gets
ghost
me in my
handy.
sleep all the time.
Yeah, he was getting like a ghost handy or something.
Good for him.
And all I can think
Yeah.
of is like
And
when they're
good for
telling
her,
us-
she didn't have to do it.
Yeah. All I
Wait,
can
wait,
think of,
she was getting it or he was getting
He
it?
was.
he was getting it. She was asleep. The wife was asleep,
How do
and
we
he
know it
thought
was a girl ghost?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
doesn't
true.
matter. Like it's a glory hole. Like
Why didn't-
I can pretend it's a girl.
So I got a ghost
I
hand job. I'm
don't
not
wanna
asking.
know.
I'm not
I'm
asking.
sucking my
I'm gonna be like,
cock
tonight.
tonight.
Look, wait a second. This is kind of creepy. Right there.
Well, I didn't say gender.
No, I'm talking about Sunny with the glory hole.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about Steel Panther.
Yeah. Okay. Some of us are both talking about glory holes.
Yes, but what was I gonna say?
Couple that talks about glory holes staying together.
Yeah.
But yeah, his wife was like dead asleep while he's getting like a ghost handy. And all I can think of is like the scene in Ghostbusters when like it's their montage and Ray's like sleeping and like the ghost like blows him.
So where's this place at?
This is in the first one.
No,
Tell me
what room?
What room
What
is that?
room?
What room? Oh,
That's
that's
disgusting. What
Tell me
room?
what room that is.
Yeah.
Me and Andrew like rock, paper,
You guys
scissors.
could probably stay in the bed
Stay
together.
in the same
I'm sure.
room.
You
We
like
went-
skiing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We wake up. Did you get the ghost hand job? Yeah, me too. We're like, why are our hands so sticky, bro?
And Heidi and I won't give a shit. Have fun, guys.
But yeah, that was one of the funny ones that they would tell us. So
Yeah, that's
that
what I
was really
thought.
good.
Yeah, it was gonna be.
Well, like I
told.
said, the description of this ghost walker was like not for the faint of heart. So I thought they're gonna get in some gory details, but they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't tell
Not
any
one.
hand job story.
No.
That's fucked
Nothing.
up.
I don't want. I don't want that Pappy telling me a hand job story.
Yeah, that
I
would
kinda
be
do.
weird.
I think
That
it'd be
That would
hilarious.
have made my night.
No.
Especially if he did like the animations.
I'm
She
a
combed her hair.
virgin.
She dirked his dick.
I don't
She
think
fondled
that's
his balls.
personality.
She-
Yeah, that's
He
too
sat
cute.
down on the bed next to her. Then he slowly removed the covers and slipped a finger inside.
And she stuck a finger in his butt.
That would have been the greatest ghost story of all time. I would have followed that dude for those 6 miles.
Sir,
Hopefully
he's
we
like
can-
at his house, and you're still like, "Do you have any more?"
Hopefully we can get
I'll
one of
pay
those
you more.
sometime. Like I said, I was bummed
Wait.
they weren't listed on the site, so hopefully they still do them.
That's hilarious.
Maybe the other one, Gettysburg Ghost Tours, like in town by the distillery. I think
Maybe.
they do some better ones
Yeah.
sometimes.
There's like 3 or 4 of them in town. We
Yeah.
walked,
Yeah,
like,
the one we did last time, was it Gettysburg Ghost Tours? I
Yeah,
think?
they're really-
They
they're
did
really
really
good.
good. Like they took us to a bunch of different stops, and like we went to like up to the one cemetery and stuff. There's a bunch of other houses and stuff
Yeah.
where they tell you stories about like
we
it was
should all
one of
rent
the
Razor
general.
scooters next time though.
It was a
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Roll up with Razor
it was
scooters.
I think it was
Yep.
an
I'm
officer
down.
that like
I'm down.
he was like betrothed to be wed.
Oh yeah, she was Catholic and he was Protestant.
Yeah, and
or
so they couldn't
something.
get married because
Could you
Aw,
imagine?
It was such a
1860s.
romantic story, and I don't even.
Can you be like, why are we
But,
fighting
like,
this war? And they're
he
like,
ended up getting killed, and like she ended up coming back to Gettysburg for it, and then like supposedly
Yeah.
like both of them end up haunting like.
You're
this
supposed
one
to be
place.
able to see them in that one window.
Yeah.
Aw,
That's sad, but pretty.
Yeah.
That's super romantic. It's
But-
like the corpse bride shit.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
But one of
Kimberly.
our favorite stories, and Rich hates it, is so they would take us out to this one. There's this little grove. I
Bree's
think
been
it's
there too.
yeah,
Oh,
I think
yes.
it's right past
I
the
like the
Gettysburg High
grove.
School, and I believe it's right at the bottom where like Pickett's Charge happened.
Yes.
I think that's where I'm pretty sure that's where it is. But so there's a tale of a girl named Elizabeth that I guess her family had moved to Gettysburg to get away from the
They
fighting.
moved her only.
Yeah, they moved her
Yes.
only to Gettysburg to get away from the fighting because she had like a heart condition or something.
Yeah.
She's
Yes,
like a
heart.
13 or 14-year-old girl.
Mhm.
And I guess then of course the battle comes to Gettysburg. And
Spoiler
I guess,
alert.
Yeah.
Followed them there.
In case you didn't know,
Followed them.
a little skirmish happened in Gettysburg.
And the stress just.
Yeah, I guess like the stress of the battle, like she just couldn't take it.
But
And,
she
like,
knew, like she died pissed off.
Yeah.
They said,
She
like,
was furious.
yeah.
So they
And-
say like she like walks the grove that's there,
Mm-hmm.
and like you'll see her, and like you'll just like if she looks at you, you just feel an intense hatred and like something's not right.
Mhm.
So whether this story's real or not, apparently there's not a lot of stuff to back it up. But
Yeah.
and there's some similar stories that are kind of around about it too.
Mhm.
So maybe it's like an amalgam of you know how that kind of
Yeah.
happens. Where, but I remember one of the first times I think it might have been the first time we did it.
I think it was the second with those girls.
Yeah, there's these
Yeah.
two little hot topic girls. I'm like, they're gonna do something.
They did.
I'm like, so
They
like
certainly
after they would
did.
tell you the story, they'd let you walk around in the woods there.
Mhm.
And
And
I'm like
then-
with the girls, like, you guys want to get out of these woods? Like, let's go hang outside.
So like
Nobody wanted to.
me and the guys were walking around, and I think Bree was with us too.
I
'cause she
did
was the only
stay.
the girl that didn't leave the woods.
I will
I
never
didn't, we
leave.
didn't leave. Bree or Val wouldn't leave with
Or was it
me.
a different time?
Every time
There was a
nobody
few
leaves with
different
me.
times. But anyway, this
What,
time,
what, you don't want to be there?
No. And they're weird. It's usually on my birthday trips.
And you were
Yeah.
trying to take us there?
Yeah.
Because I wanted
Yeah.
to
That's
go
doing
so
it for
bad.
Tori.
We would have got
It's
there
doing
and
it
she'd
for
be
Tori.
like, cool, here it is, guys. I'll be in the
Yep.
car.
I would have been okay with that.
so
Yeah.
like we're all these two little hot topic girls go off into the woods, and all of a sudden you hear a shriek,
Yes, it
and
was
everyone
loud.
like the
So
like
loud.
tour guide like
Mhm.
runs over because he's like, oh fuck, did this girl get hurt?
Yep.
And like she's like lying face down in the fucking like leaves.
Yep.
And she's like, I saw her.
Oh,
She's
so
scared of like
dramatic.
fucking
She was
bullshit.
so
Yeah.
dramatic.
I'm like, no, you didn't.
But what if she
That's
did?
incorrect.
I mean, she did
Over
great,
the
but
top.
I'm like the whole time I'm like, yo, I guarantee these two girls are gonna fucking pull something. I don't
But
know
you know
why.
what's really
I
She
just
weird?
wasted
felt
all that
like it.
time putting that black eyeliner on because she's so edgy and goth and
Yeah.
so into death, and then she sees a ghost and shits her pants.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. So I think that's the time I ran into the woods.
You
yeah,
ran
like we
in.
were like, oh, well, let's go check it out.
I was trying to
Yeah,
get
I was
Val to
there.
run out.
Rich is like, it was like me, Bria, like a few of us, like, oh, let's go see what happened.
And we
Well-
all ran into the depths.
And Val was actually feeling sick.
She
my
Was
friend
it the
Val.
same
Mhm.
time? Because there was
I
a
think
time.
There was a bunch
There
of
was a
times.
There was a
time we
bunch of
went, and
times.
our friend Val, like, she started getting sick to her stomach when
She
we were trying to
did.
go into the woods, and she's like, I'm not gonna
And
do
she's
it.
a trooper. She wouldn't. She was like staying in. She wouldn't leave.
Yeah,
Aw.
she did stick it out.
No,
Well,
there was
Yeah.
a time she
the
wouldn't
theory
go
is
in.
that if you get sick like that, is from what I was told, because I've had a similar thing happen to me, and I
Yeah.
had someone tell me who was a medium and be like, they were trying to channel or contact you,
Mhm.
but you either are closed-minded to it, or you're not prepared for it, or know how to handle it, and you
Mm.
get sick.
Well, that happened to her mom at the Jim Thorpe prison.
Because she
Yeah.
was wasted, probably.
That might have been part of it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, she started like we were in the basement.
No, but
she
she
started
did.
feeling really sick.
And they actually did say about Elizabeth. I've never gone there with my mom. My mom and I are very close, but they said that Elizabeth, I don't know if you remember that, like
I do remember that.
really hates mother daughters that are close, and she will like target them. But I don't know. I'm not
See, I'm-
taking Cheryl in those woods.
I'm close to my mom too, but I didn't have
I'm
any.
taking Wendy.
But she like they
Yeah,
were.
Wendy and
yeah,
I'll
we
go
didn't
and be
have
like,
them
we
with
love
us.
each
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck
go.
you, Elizabeth.
Oh.
Wish you could have this mom,
That same-
Elizabeth.
That same time when Val felt sick, I didn't feel sick, but I had like other different physical symptoms. I remember, but I didn't feel nauseous. I felt something else, but I still wanted to see it.
Oh, you guys. And I don't
Yeah,
know.
like
These
a
are
lot
like
of the times people get like nauseous and like dizzy
yeah.
and like they have or like shortness of breath. It's kind of like you're going into like an anxiety attack, which is why like people are always just like, well, it could just be anxiety. Yeah, it could, or it could be something else. Like you never know.
right.
Yeah, like
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm open minded. I'm also the skeptic, but like the Farnsworth is like only one of two like three paranormal experiences I've ever had. One was the door opening,
Mhm.
and I'm like, well,
But
because
then
like,
also the skeptic in me is probably like, okay, now they're up there. Let's have somebody open the door.
or it could have been like coming up the steps could have been and somewhere else in the house too. But like
Yeah.
that how heavy that door was, even a draft, it wouldn't have
Well,
just.
he also said that one of the guys who died in the basement supposedly haunts that
Mhm.
Yeah.
too.
I think
yeah.
that's
the
dude
whole
that-
place, I think,
yeah.
right?
But here's my thing: if that entire basement floor, this is the skeptic and maybe the jerk in me, but like, if that entire basement was stacked with bodies and the attic is stacked with bodies, and they're like, Timmy died here, like, How do you know?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like at that point, you're guessing, and then at that point,
Yeah. Who
you may
knows?
like to the skeptic person or the open-minded person who tries to put logic and reasoning to things is
Yeah.
like, and then John he died. I'm like, but didn't you say there's 13 bodies over there?
Yeah, like how do you know who was?
Like-
Maybe those guys were okay. I don't know.
Yeah. They're like,
They said a Hail Mary before they died.
well, he's a Protestant, and that's not real, so he didn't cross over. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird to me.
But
You know, the other thing too, and maybe one more political thing, and then I'm done because it was kind of on me a little bit that day too. Like you walk around and just like fucking you're Biden and Harris, and then you're Trump and penis everywhere, right? I just feel like if you're a town that has been through that historically,
Mhm.
it should be a very neutral town. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's true.
because if anything, that town shows you, like, if you're on the path of where the Civil War went, you know what divide does to a country and how
Yeah.
dangerous it could be.
Well, that's
And
why
if-
they have both.
And it,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Yo, I
was
honestly
being-
kind of wanted to just fuck with people during the election and put like Biden, Harris, and Trump Pence on my
Yeah.
house.
be like,
Like,
which one?
yeah, but, I mean, I'm being
I'm gonna
gen-
let you think about
I'm
it.
being generous. I didn't see any Biden Harris.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
I saw one.
I
I
seen
saw
one in
one,
a window.
yeah.
Mhm.
What I did see though, what I really, really thought was cool, is there was a lot of Black Lives Matter signs.
There
Yeah.
was,
There
yes.
But
were, yes.
they were yellow and black, and they said the reason this war was fought is because Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were around the college.
That one
the
made my
seminary.
heart. That one made my heart
Yeah.
really warm.
And I
That
was
was
like,
nice.
that's the shit that you have to remind people. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, do what you want, army surplus stores guys who are selling reenactment things, but like
Mhm.
when your entire gift shop is just trumped out. Now I don't pick a side either way,
Yeah.
but that's where you're creating your division, and you live in a town where it's historically proven division sometimes not a good thing, and trying to shove things out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like this is what worst case scenario
Yeah.
has happened like right here on
Yeah,
your
right.
on your footsteps.
it's like being in a town down south where like 1,000 people were hung, and like or like fucking Salem. You know what I mean? Or you go
Yeah.
there, and there's like just
Love it there.
closed-minded people,
love
and
Salem.
it almost caused like a genocide of
There's
women.
a witch.
Right? And then like there's
Burn her.
and then you go to Gettysburg, and they're like, "We hate witches." Like, or you have like a sign that says that.
She
you know?
turned me into a newt.
Yeah.
I got better.
It's like, oh boy, you live in a historically tailored area, and
Yeah.
you completely miss the message. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Mhm.
and that's just me, like, just not liking any politics. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Just
right.
kind of
Yeah.
like,
Amen.
you
Seeing the
both.
bigger picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I going on with that? The paranormal.
woods.
So I never experienced anything in the woods, but the Farnsworth house is one. Two is Rish and I, when we were looking for a house, we looked at a house up Montongo Street that used to be a mansion that they split into.
Ooh.
They split into two.
It's creepy.
And so but it was still, as a half, it was still ridiculously huge. And I don't really ever feel things, but like I'm walking around the house, I'm like, this is pretty cool. I'm like, it needs some work, blah, blah, blah. But I go in the basement, and just something was like not right. And I'm like, just something didn't feel right, and something felt off.
And you
I'm like-
never.
and I never really like get that, but I went down anyway. But I'm just looking down through because the basement door had like a glass pane in it where you could see down into the dark.
Oh.
And I'm like, just something didn't feel right. And it
I
could be like they
love
say, like
that.
the
Holy
old,
shit.
The
they
electric,
could say
that's what-
like old electric could do that and
Yeah.
stuff like
Oh,
that,
yeah,
like the
the
EMF
EMF.
fields and whatnot. But it's just something didn't feel right. And it was like another ghost, like, you feel that sense of dread in your basement or attic, call us. So like I go down, nothing really happened. I go to the reel. I'm like, yo, so what time do the walls bleed?
There was like prayer cards all over the floor
it was
too.
Yes. Oh my God, I
Bizarre.
would have bought that house.
Oh,
I would have bought that house too.
Oh
it was
my
not
God.
available when I was
Prayer
looking
cards
with
on the
Mark.
floor?
I don't even know
Hell
why we
yeah.
thought we could afford that house.
It wasn't actually that expensive.
That's before we had
'Cause it was
400
haunted.
No,
animals.
it wasn't that
Yeah.
expensive. Like, I mean, it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't also for Montongo Street. It was cheap. Let's
Yeah.
put it
Yeah.
that way. But it needed so much work to update it. Like, it had a gorgeous brand new bathroom that had this like glass
And
cube
kitchen.
shower and then
Oh,
like
wow.
clawfoot jacuzzi tub
God, I
type
love
thing and a
Montongo.
brand new
I do too.
kitchen.
Oh my
But the
God.
rest of the house needed a lot. Like, it had every room had a fireplace.
Holy
Oh, see, I
shit.
would've
And,
loved-
like,
I
that would've
remember
been
you telling me about
amazing.
this
Did it?
house.
God.
But then
Yeah.
like, and then
Should've
they had like
bought
their
it.
attic. I guess used to be
know.
like
Should've
servants'
bought it.
quarters and stuff. It was really cool,
Mm.
but there would have been a money pit
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah,
It's a good
most
movie.
likely.
A good
But then
money pit.
the only
Nice.
other
So let's hit the lottery, and we're
Yeah,
gonna buy
right.
a giant house so all of us can live in together.
I
Let's
want to
do it.
buy that one on
But
Mahantongo. That's
I'm
like
making a rule
the
now,
stone one across from the mansion.
the one. No,
Let's-
the one further down. That's just decrepit.
Yeah. but I'm making a rule now. Like, we will buy another building where you
I
guys
know where
can
he's
do your
going
own
with-
animal shelter.
I knew that's where he was going with that.
Because I think between Tori, Bree, and Heidi and Rish, our house will be a fucking zoo.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
it would.
I just show
Yes,
up
it
with like a
would.
calf, and I'm like, look what I got.
But if we
Dog
walk
guys, I gotta
longer, I won't have to work. I'll keep it clean. I swear.
We'll have the service.
Hey, she does a
quarters,
really
we'll
good
just
job
clean
right
up.
now.
She
so-
does. She does absolutely a
Yeah.
fantastic job.
Yep.
But I just feel like that's like the whole four horsemen of apocalypse with animals.
Yeah.
It
is
is
true.
amazing.
Like every day, instead of coming in with like
And they have like one leg, like 3 legs,
Like
one eye.
one eye, like a
14
cat.
pigs in our house. a
And they're all
horse.
black and white.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Leia.
It would be amazing.
If you come with one shaved cat, I don't care.
Yeah, so that
Ooh,
was the number
yeah.
2.
I
The
love
number,
hairless cats.
Number
too. They're so
3
funny.
is so my family's from North Carolina, and we go down to the beach there every year. My dad's side of the family's from North Carolina, but so in Wilmington, North Carolina, is the USS North Carolina. It was a World War II battleship. It was in service in like the Pacific Conference during World War II.
Wow.
It was torpedoed and a bunch of people died. I mean,
Holy
it was
shit.
they were able to fix it. They were able to get it back to port and fix it, but there was a bunch of people died.
Mhm.
So the last summer we went down there because we went with her brother came down, and like he's a huge World War II guy too, just not just Civil War, like he likes World War One, World
He
War
just
II, all
loves
that-
war.
Yeah, war. It's like
War
history in
everywhere.
general.
Yeah.
I think.
Loves war.
It's
But,
mostly
um,
war.
So we went on the tour of the battleship, which is supposed to be haunted. Like I think there's a Ghost Hunters episode of it.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, I think there is.
But so in a battleship, there is like a munitions elevator. So like all the big guns on it, like there's like the powder packs and the bullets and stuff that go into the giant cannons. But there's like an elevator that takes them up. So at the bottom of the ship, it's this big round room that's like the munitions elevator. I lost all of these guys. I didn't know where the hell they went because it's
It's a
easy.
maze.
Yeah, it's easy to get mixed around. Like they have like a track to go around it, but you can get lost pretty easy. As I'm walking through it, out of the corner of my eye, I see a dude in like black, like out of the corner of my eye, coming in the back room of the musicians room, and then it's turned around and like gone. But like my hair on the back of my neck just started standing up.
Mm.
Like it
And
could have
he's
just been
such a
another.
skeptic that
and-
like
yeah,
I believe him.
yeah, like that one. I'm like, was there some? Because like it was almost like, have you ever seen like the Navy, like the black with the white cap, and that's what it felt like. It looked like.
Yeah.
Was he hot?
I don't know. I couldn't see his face.
Could he get it? Could he get it?
Could he fuck?
Maybe.
Did
I mean,
he
he was
have-
probably in shape.
Did he have a wagon?
He was probably in shape.
I bet he was hot.
But I mean, it could have been anyone else on the tour, and it just like someone might have stepped there and then stepped back because they realized they were also lost. But it was just
and they
something
thought
made it,
you
like,
were a ghost,
yeah,
and they're
then
like,
it's just like literally a ghost wearing a bright purple every time I die shirt. I don't think it would have been.
people
They
die
just
all
went-
the time.
They
man.
went, oh my god, that's Brendan Urie.
Yeah.
But like I said,
poor
it
Brendan
was just
Urie.
weird. I'm like, was that someone there? Like
You've had more
'cause that's
experiences than
where-
I have.
that spot right there is where like the ship got torpedoed too.
Oh, whoa.
So I'm like, I might have seen a ghost.
Where's that one that I always talk about, the Queen Mary?
That is in
that's in
California.
California.
Is
It's
it?
in
Oh
San
my
Diego.
God.
Yeah.
I
San
would
Francisco?
love.
Can't remember which.
I would
Might be in
love
LA,
to
I don't
get
know.
in there.
I would too.
Fucking Queen Mary, man.
Yeah.
Oh my
I've been
God.
I
there.
would be there.
Oh,
Really?
really?
Yeah, we went with my dad because my dad does like random jobs through like because he helps design pipe systems for power plants.
Mhm.
So like he's been to like China and Brazil and
Oh,
stuff.
wow. Good
So
for
for
him.
like 6 months or so, they sent him to California. So we went out and visited him a bunch of times here and there, and that was one of the places that
Oh, that's
my
cool.
mom wanted to go. Like was
It's a
dying
hotel
to go
now,
see.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a restaurant and stuff inside.
Britney Spears did her
Um,
one music video in there.
Mhm.
Oh,
Fun
shit.
fact.
I
yeah.
was-
Oh.
But it was just really cool.
Anyway.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be really cool to see. But yeah, it's so if you're ever in Wilmington, North Carolina, it's a really cool tour to check out. They have like
Awesome.
ghost tours in Wilmington too. So
That was one of the
Mhm.
best ghost tours I've ever taken in Wilmington. When we were just there? Or not Wilmington. No, Southport.
Southport.
There was some, yeah.
Yeah, Southport was it was a Confederate like port because it's in North Carolina. They had like blockade runners and stuff, but like the whole town is just a history of like the South. And there was a ghost tour we did down there. It was really cool.
Spooky, yeah.
So they took us to like a cemetery and a bunch of different stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah. So is there any other Gettysburg related things that you guys experienced or you would recommend?
So one of my
What the hell are you
favorite
looking at me like
Gettysburg
that
ghost
for?
stories ever is. So
it's not the hand job one.
No, it's not the
I think I know what he's going to say, and it's not.
It's so let me get there. So
There may be a hand job.
one of the one of the
Not
ghost
tonight.
spots is supposedly Sachs Bridge, Sachs Covered Bridge.
Mhm.
And the story is that there are 3 Confederate deserters that tried to escape that were hanged at the bridge.
Mm.
So supposedly the ghosts they haunt the bridge, they guard the bridge, stuff like that. But this is apparently an allegedly thing. Like I don't know if there's any proof to back up, but that was typical for like if someone was caught deserting, they would hang them.
Yeah.
So we didn't know. This is like we didn't know exactly where it was, and we were trying to find it one night.
Yeah, so but we went there. I think we were supposed to go, and it snowed for my birthday in October, so we missed it to
Yes.
go with the group.
Mhm.
I was so
We
convinced
went down the next day.
that you were gonna propose to me down there
Mhm.
because I was waiting for fucking like 4 years, and I was just like, he's gonna do it. He's just gonna do it. So I was like already like, on edge. I thought you were gonna propose that day.
Well, I didn't,
Nope.
but I did
Spoiler.
eventually.
How long did you guys wait?
I think you did it in December then.
So 4 years.
It was
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Heidi was I think 8 or 9.
Well, you guys been together since like.
We're together
High
13 years.
So are we.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
waited 8 years for the proposal, 8 or 9 years.
She's the most patient woman I've ever met. in my
Yes.
And the
life.
proposal was so we made the joke the whole time. It wasn't really a joke. It was something we honestly believed in too, but it was one of those things too where we weren't really interested in marriage. Like the idea of marriage wasn't for us. And then we talked to a couple who were together a long time and they got into a car accident and one of them wasn't going to do very well to the point where they're like, we need to make a decision right now if we try or put them on life support.
Mm-hmm.
And the person was like, yeah, you're gonna try. And they're like, well, are you married? And they're like, no. And they're like, you can't make that
Yeah.
call. And like, we've been together 11 years. And they're
Doesn't
like,
matter.
we don't care. And they're
Right.
like, what's the easiest way to contact somebody? He's like, they don't have anybody. Like their parents are gone. They don't have any siblings, and they don't know their family. They just came from a small family. And they're like pretty much luckily this person kind of pulled through because they weren't going to do anything because that person couldn't
can't.
legally
Yeah.
make that call.
Right.
And I was like, we should probably get married because if that
Just
happens,
in case.
I'll burn that motherfucker down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so we always said too, we're not going to get married until everyone's allowed to get married. And then
Yeah.
that year is when same-sex marriages got approved.
Yeah.
And then it was New Year's, and I was hammered, and I'm in the car, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's New Year's," and everyone's like joking around, like, "Are you guys gonna propose tonight?" And we left to one party to go to my parents' house to say hi, and I was like, "You know what? It should be this year. We should get married." And she's like, "Is this my fucking proposal?" I was like, "Sure." And she's like,
Aw.
"Yes," and I fucking hate you because that's the worst. And I was like, nailed it. That was her proposal.
Aw.
So it's the
I love her.
fucking worst. And then every time someone proposes, she cries. She goes, "Why couldn't
Did
do
you
something
ever
cool?"
like redo it then?
Aw.
I think you should. I think 2020 should be the year you do like.
Listen, I think we should probably skip this year and maybe
No,
Pick
like,
it up
put
in
something
2021.
good for
Yeah.
this year.
I
we
agree.
did. I took
Something nice and
Yeah.
sweet.
I took her to Gettysburg
You didn't propose to her
There's
there.
no ring.
Yeah.
Engagement ring.
in this field where everyone died.
Mhm.
Young men, but they did die. So
Should have had our tour guide be like, and then
Tony proposed to Heidi again. No, so here's the thing. She told me for the 9 years we were together, if I do it in a public setting, she'll freak out and she'll be pissed.
Oh, okay.
So she doesn't. So she told me forever she wants it done privately, and I just did it privately in my car, and she fucking hated it. But it wasn't romantic. I'm not a romantic
You
person.
just can't please women,
Yeah,
can you?
I mean, not in that aspect. I'm more of your David Duchovny in Californication, but not that anymore. Old tired, body weary. I always make that joke too. But anyway, yeah. So I said we proposed in a field where everyone died, but my spin to it could be like, all these people died, so a white person and a person of color can be together. Well, honestly, that's why I like Martin Luther King Day, even though she's not. She's still a person of a different race. You know what I mean? Like
still a person of color.
like, Martin Luther King wasn't like, I mean, his message might have just been for, people of color or, black people, but I mean, his message span out to Hispanics, Asians, everybody, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He gave everybody a shot. So, I mean, that's kind of what the Civil War means to me too. I mean, it was dedicated for people of color, black people, but I mean, you have to start somewhere to do their thing. Like the Irish were just fighting for themselves, but they didn't realize what their message was for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, that would have been a cool little thing. But in my brain, it sounds awesome. But I would have did. And she's like, "Why fucking here?" And then I would have had to explain it, and then it just been stupid.
I think
Yeah.
she would have cried either way. She would have loved it.
I think so too.
She has her fucking $30 ring. She'll be happy.
All
We're
right.
so not those people. Well, I'm not.
So anyway, we're trying to find Sachs Bridge. We didn't know where it was. We had an idea where it was, but we didn't know exactly where it was. So we're driving down the road, and I pull off to where, like, we just crossed the creek. I'm like, is it here? And so we pull over. My car's still running. We get out. Rush gets out. She starts taking a picture, and all of a sudden, get back in the car. Get back in the car. She starts freaking the fuck out. So I'm like, all right. So I motor out of there, and we're driving away, and she shows me the picture. I look at it, and I'm like,
It was just like this mist.
it's just mist
I just saw
everywhere.
this mist.
This
I
weird like
freaked out.
mist that's like blue. And I'm like,
Do you have the
I
picture?
look at it.
I
Hold
think
on.
So.
I look at it, and I'm like, that's my fucking exhaust.
Oh!
Because like
I'm
I had
like-
like the HID headlights that had that slight blue tinge to it. So like it's super cold out, so the exhaust is coming up, and it's just like
I
the
was
picture
so
looked
bummed
cool,
out.
but I'm like looking, I'm like that's my exhaust.
No ring, no ghouls, no nothing.
No ring, no ghouls.
Bitch got a
no
ring.
nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I got it then. But
I thought you were
So
gonna
Bummer.
say Confederate ghosts. I don't remember the mist story.
yeah,
No,
like
it
I
was
said,
like
like literally just it's my car
mist.
exhaust.
Yeah. So sad.
However,
So ramped
there
up.
was one time though that like one of our first trips ever there, we were on Little Round Top. She took a bunch of pictures, and I took one of the pictures, and I photoshopped like a soldier into it.
Yeah, they posted it.
And then I turned his opacity down to like 5.
So he's just barely there.
And like reinserted it back to her pictures. It was she uploaded it on Facebook.
Yeah, but then I couldn't like lie. I was like, Andy did that.
But it was funny because like someone caught it, I think.
I
or
think somebody did.
someone
yeah.
caught it, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And then she couldn't play along with it anymore.
I can't lie.
But I guess one last one though we did that Spirits and Spirits tour we talked about a little bit earlier.
Ooh.
There is a creek that runs through the town. They say that during the battle the creek was just blood.
Oof.
So
God,
there's a
I can
spot.
imagine.
There's a spot we stopped by, and I just took a series of pictures in because right now it's modern. It's like there's just like
I can
a little
find
like
them.
bridge. I can't. Yeah, Risha. It's on Risha's Facebook somewhere. I just don't remember what year it was. But it's just so like it's like a little tunnel where the creek comes through now underneath like a roadway. And I just took a series of pictures through, like 5 or 6 pictures. Nothing. In one picture, there's this like slightly like see-through line that just goes like squiggles down the middle of this photo.
That's
And
pretty
it's
neat.
like it's a slightly like you could see through it, but it's just
Mhm.
milky white and it's just like this like strip.
Yeah, I took a photo last
and
night.
then the next pictures after it's gone. So it's like
Oh,
nothing.
neat.
This thing,
I'll find
nothing.
it.
I took a photo
Oh.
last night when we were testing out our cameras just across the street from where I parked my car. And on the other car across from me, I took like 3 photos, and the one that was an orb in it. But I don't really buy the orb, so I just deleted it.
No, you deleted it.
Yeah.
Dust.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
I
never
did. It could
know.
also been the reflection off the car of my flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I took 3 more of the same spot, and I didn't get a reflection off the same spot of the door. So I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
Hey, Rish will find it. We'll share it on the community. And
Yeah,
take a
do
look
it.
at it then.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go through all of the photos we took and fine tooth comb them. I mean,
Mhm.
maybe I'll go look at them
Yeah.
again because I was looking at them on my phone, but I'll pull them up on my computer. But I don't think I got anything of all the photos I took.
Yeah, you never know what might
Yeah.
pop up.
Yeah.
Or just like maybe you don't notice, but someone else will.
I did
right?
I think for me, I think the coolest location where I like if we're gonna do like an overnight thing or I had permission or if we can camp out there or just be there after dark would definitely be that fort and then that field and then Devil's Den.
Yeah.
I just thought that
Mm.
was a cool location.
Well, they say
Devil's
Devil's
Den's
Den's
cool.
one of the most active spots on the field, but like it's hard to be there at night. Like right now, like winter's probably a great time to go to it because the park
'Cause it
is
gets
open
dark
till
so-
10.
And it gets
So
dark
you can
so quickly.
you can legally go out because Risha actually she was out with some friends one time and got fined for being out there.
Yeah, we were out like 2 a.m. though.
But
Oh.
and just doing like ghost stuff and not like vandalizing or anything.
Yeah.
How big was the fine?
I don't. It was like $250, I think.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I didn't pay it, so. I
So
spent that
you have a
money.
warrant for your arrest in Gettysburg?
Yep.
Oh, do you really?
No.
I was gonna say.
So that's why I changed my hair, got a nose job, and I could go back.
But yeah, they
I'll
say that's
never
one of the
know.
most active spots on the battlefield. So like it would be cool to go out there at night sometime.
Isn't
like,
there something
or
to do with
dusk.
rocks, like certain rocks and things that
Minerals.
It's all like
yeah.
granite.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Certain
sure it's
certain
limestone.
minerals, limestone, quartz, or like any like a lot
Yeah, I'm
of
pretty
times
sure,
it's quartz.
It's granite is Devil's Den.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the idea of it's like the magnets within different minerals and
Yeah.
stuff can withhold onto certain energies, and that's the whole science behind it.
I find that's like so interesting.
Well,
I love that.
Like
Yeah.
water too, because like these like
Oh, yeah.
bridges have like a thing because like certain spirits aren't supposed to be able to cross water and
Mm.
stuff like that. But like that's what they said. Like Sachs Bridge is so active, but
Mhm.
that'd be cool to
That's
want
why
to go
they-
out at night too, because that's actually not in the park too.
Mhm.
So like you could go to that whenever you want.
And
Yeah.
with
Oh,
with
neat.
bridges and like stuff like that too. Like a lot of people say it because it's bridges are a transition point. So it's like imagine how many people go over that bridge all the time. So it's just like people going from point A to point B over a certain area with the idea of transitioning and with the idea of leaving certain things behind, whether it's just like leaving the other side behind. It's the idea of like the collective idea is just leaving something there. So that's why, and then the water's right there, and water is a transformative substance. So then it just kind of
Yeah, like
holds
we
onto
were
the
like
energy.
Sleepy Hollow and the Headless Horseman. He couldn't cross the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I-
the ring rates and Lord of the Rings, even though it's not really.
But I just
Mhm.
that's just where I think man-made. Like we don't know what the fuck ghosts can do and can't do.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They're like, this ghost is stuck here and they can't cross bridges, and if you put salt there, you're safe. It's like whatever makes you sleep at night, brother.
I got my salt ring and my Necronomicon. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
here it
Oh,
is.
is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But I don't think I have the series of them.
so this picture, I'll give it to Tony to look first.
Well, if you just want to
and
share,
dice it out.
send it to the,
Yeah,
put it in
we'll
the group
yeah
chat.
we'll put it
and
in the
I'll
group.
put
But
it
for
on
you all to
Insta.
see right now,
Yeah.
every picture before and after this, that line is not there.
Interesting.
I don't think there was many cars or anything. I
No,
don't
there was
think there
no, there was
anything around
nothing
there.
that could explain it because it was
Because
middle. It was
if
like
it was like a bug or something, it
Yeah.
would just be like in one
'Cause
spot.
it was
Especially
like-
if you were doing it like so many.
it was
at
like
the time.
twilight too, so like it was like dusk.
Yeah.
like it wasn't bright. There
That's
so there's no
interesting.
like headlights or anything that could
Oh,
have
wow.
Yeah.
hit it or anything. I'm pretty sure you might have seen it already.
Oh,
Were you there with us when
Yeah.
we did that? Yeah.
I was here.
Were you? I don't
Yeah.
remember.
I think
That
so.
was the Spirits and Spirits tour.
I've been on so many.
With
I
Spooky.
mix them. I
Spiel
mix
wits
them
and
up.
spiel
Yeah.
wits with
So we
Mr.
all
and
got
Mrs. Hale.
Annihilated.
The lady who does it, her name's Spooky.
Oh yes,
Adorable.
yes, I do remember her.
I
yes,
love her. She's
Then I
awesome.
But yeah, we just thought that was like why is that there?
I do remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, we'll post that up on the community page then.
Save
Actually,
that.
Rich, save it now and we can
Yeah, I'm
post it up.
doing it, Andy.
So, Bree, do you have any? You said you've been there so many times. Do you have
Yeah.
any experiences? And then after you do your experiences, if you want to maybe pick a few stories out of that book, and then
Sure. So yeah, I've been on many of the tours with Rich and Andy because I've known them for many years now, probably like 10 years or so. 10,
Yeah,
11
I
years,
think
long
so.
time. Yep. I'm trying to think. So I, at one point in my life, believe it or not, I did not believe in ghosts, did not believe in aliens, did not believe in shit. But I have since changed my mind and am now an active believer. And I have been.
with zero experience, which is interesting.
Well, that's not necessarily true anymore. I have not seen anything. But on that tour, like when we were in the woods that day with our friend Val, who was sick, I had some physical experiences, not to the extent that Val did, but I remember feeling like anxiety. I remember feeling really hot. And I remember feeling not dizzy, but like lightheaded maybe. But I'm still running into those woods because I'm going to see
Yeah.
something. I will see something before I'm like 90. So those ghosts better prepare themselves because it will happen. They better watch themselves.
What do you think you'll do if you actually see them?
I have no idea.
I just hope to
Hope
God
you're
I'm.
bad. that
just-
might happen.
And
just-
I'll be
I
there
just-
to clean you up.
Thank you.
I just
Thank you.
hope to
True
God I'm
friend.
there. Like she,
I
like,
hope we all are there. I
and she
want to
just-
see.
and she just starts crying or something. She's like, it happened.
Or what if she? Yeah.
It happened.
Finally. Tears
But
of
it's not
joy.
tears of fear, it's tears of like joy.
it has happened, but I
I'm so
don't.
happy.
And the ghost is like, bro, I don't know, man. There's weird shit going on. This girl with she's like a fairy. Her hair is really short. She had really bright lips. I don't know, man. She just started crying. She seen me. And now in the spiritual world, they have their own like La Llorona of Brie. Like,
Oh, so I like scare them.
yeah.
Yeah.
In every
You're their folktale.
in my
That'd be awesome.
in my world,
would.
if ghosts or spirits are a thing, I feel they're interdimensional.
Interdimensional.
Yeah, I'm down School County, but I feel like it's like the movie The Others, where like when
Oh,
you
yeah.
die, you still live your life, and sometimes the whatever the energy may be or the path of the universe crosses, and sometimes the worlds blend or bleed together. So I don't think necessarily when you see a ghost, it's like they're on a clockwork, like every day at 4:30 in the morning. Like I don't think the spiritual world time is the same as our time. Like
It's not.
this is just my theory. And I like if you go to like if someone died July 4th in this battlefield at exactly 9 o'clock, if you go there every single day for 100 years, I don't think you'll fucking but I think like if their timeline somehow blends interdimensionally with the other one, you have a chance of seeing something then. I just don't think we live in the same realm of existence. And if
Right.
you do see something, I don't think it's the same thing that people are portraying it to be.
Mhm.
That's just my theory.
That makes sense.
I can
Yeah.
see
It
that.
does.
Yeah. So that day in the woods, I had that kind of like.
Oh, so sorry. So the reason my
Oh,
theory
sorry.
is that,
I thought you were
and I
gonna-
think,
I
and
apologize.
And if they see Bree in their world, that's the ghost to them.
That's interesting.
That
So-
I
Very
could-
interesting.
Yeah.
I
So
definitely- I
don't
definitely
think
think-
they're dead.
What if we're all dead right now?
We could be.
It could be like the Descents.
Yeah. Or we're all in a Matrix.
Bruce Willis is the guy in the toupee the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the point of that
so,
movie, Charlie?
So that's my if I did have a theory or something I can get behind with the spirit world, that would be it. So like I said,
I can
if
see
they,
that.
if they see us, they're like, "What the fuck is that thing?" Because everyone who has a ghost,
Ghost.
so everyone who has a ghost experience is like usually like it happens for a split second and the thing dips.
Right.
So it's just like they're probably like sitting there and all of a sudden like,
Good old
"Fuck that," you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
good
get
old
over it.
interdimensional crossovers.
that's what
That's
I
Love it.
That's what I think it is.
Oh, Morty.
That explains the ghost in Animal Crossing why he flips out. If you ever seen him wisp,
Yeah,
and he flips out and says, "Ah, you're a ghost when you're a person."
Aw.
that's my theory.
Yeah.
So
it's a
that's
good
why
one.
when a ghost sees Bree and
Well,
and she
Eric,
starts
you wanna-
hysterically crying, they're gonna be freaked the
That's
fuck out.
like
of her.
here, Bree, you'll like this. The ghost of the Grove in Link to the Past, Legend of Zelda 3. That like, there's a grove you go to get your the ocarina, and there's a ghost boy playing to like the forest animals,
Yes.
and you talk to his father in town, and he's like, my son loved that. You know, he used to play to the animals in the grove, but he passed. But then you go to the dark world, and you find out that he's trapped in the dark world.
Oh.
Yes.
Ouchie.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely correct. That's a good part of the game. One of the best
Wow.
ones, actually.
That
Yeah.
is
that's
the best
cool.
Zelda game.
He's in the
Ocarina of Time.
he's in
No,
the,
Link to the Past.
he's in what, the Stranger Things Underworld or Netherworld or
The
Yeah,
upside
the
down.
upside down.
Upside
Upside
Down.
down.
Fucking it's the same shit, just different name. Fucking.
They're all different words for the astral
What
realm,
was
the
the
lower
further?
astral realm.
Yeah.
The further was that the Insidious one?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
that's
the
Insidious one.
further, the netherworld, the astral, lower astral.
But with
plane.
Beetlejuice's
Nice fucking model.
the
Oh,
Netherworld.
yeah.
Yeah, the Netherworld. Yeah. I want to go to the
Goddamn
Netherworld. If I had to
Sam
pick
Moore.
what other dimension, I'd go to Beetlejuice's.
Girls, girls, girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to Zelda.
Working a guy and go get an election.
Oh man, Tony got eaten by a sandworm.
Yeah.
You know I hate him. I've seen The Exorcist 375 times, and it keeps getting better.
Funnier every time
Oh,
I
yeah,
see it.
funnier every time I see it. Look, we shop at the same place. Hey, buddy. Diddle the girl. I fucking,
Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Squishes her
Fun
belly.
at parties.
Yeah.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, I need to lose weight, and I'm going to Beetlejuice one year for Halloween.
Incredible.
I think I'm the only one who does not like Beetlejuice. Just
Really?
I
Get
don't.
out.
No.
It does fascinate
You're
me
valid.
when Bree says something that she doesn't like because she usually likes everything. So we dedicated like a half hour, 45 minutes on Not Cool in high school to like tell us stuff you don't like, Bree.
Why don't you like Beetlejuice?
Can I make a guess?
Go ahead.
Because he's misogynistic?
One reason, yes.
But he's a bad guy.
Because
Yeah,
Like you're not supposed to like Beetlejuice.
So like Bree, and it is not like a knock on Bree, but
No.
Bree buys into the characters and character development. So if they're a bad person, she's not into that. She's
We're not
very
supposed to like Beetlejuice.
she's very into the pure and everything like that.
Yeah.
And
True.
supposed to be on the Maitland side, not
Yes.
on Beetlejuice's side. Beetlejuice is a dick.
but I think if there's
He
a
is a
bad
dick.
enough if there's a bad enough villain, it can turn her off the movie completely.
Mhm.
Yeah, and a lot of things I've learned with her, if women aren't portrayed good, she don't like it either.
But
I
in
understand that
Beetlejuice, they
difference.
are.
Yeah.
Like, don't
Lydia?
you think? Yeah.
Yeah, Lydia and
Moira.
Yeah, Moira. I don't know about Moira,
Yeah.
but
I still think Lydia's story that they were gonna go with would have been better in the movie.
What were they gonna do?
So in the original one, Lydia, the reason she was trying to kill herself the whole time
Yeah.
because she really and the reason she was obsessed with that and dressing in dark and stuff is because she wanted to go to the afterworld to see her mother because her mother's dead. So that was her whole thing. Is like they kind of alluded to her killing herself where she was writing her suicide
Yeah.
note.
Yeah.
But that was her whole goal was when she was going to kill herself. And then she thought if she married Beetlejuice, like he tricks her, saying like, if you married me, I could take you with me,
Yeah.
type deal. But and then like so that they kind of dive into it a little bit, but they don't go as deep into it as I thought they were going to.
So go to see the musical.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
storyline.
funny
Yes.
the like the Beetlejuice cartoon where like him and Lydia are buddies.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
getting
That's
into
fucking
capers.
weird.
It was a good cartoon.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And you know who was supposed to be Beetlejuice? Sammy Davis Jr.
I can see that.
was the
Really?
first person offered Beetlejuice.
Hey
couldn't see that.
man.
Yeah.
I can see that.
he's too like slick.
Yeah,
and,
he's
and the girl who
definitely
played
slick.
Juno turned it down like 4 times. She's like, I'm not doing that movie. The girl with the
What?
smoke coming out of her neck.
Oh.
She was like a really big actress in her time, and they really,
And
really
she-
wanted her to be in it. And she's like, I'm not doing that fucking stupid shit.
yeah,
And then she went and seen it and everything, and she's like, all right, I'm in. That was like a big get for the movie for them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Other reasons I don't like
Oh, there you
Beetlejuice. the whole thing about it, like a lot of suicide, and I also always thought he was really gross.
Well,
Yeah.
he is,
He is
gross.
definitely
Like
gross.
you're
Well-
not supposed to like Beetlejuice.
I know.
Well, Beetlejuice.
That's why I
But
don't
when
like it.
I didn't watch Beetlejuice until I got a lot older because it would make me like
Yeah.
because when I was a kid I was like almost like I wasn't afraid like of Beetlejuice, but I was
Oh,
just
no.
like he was just very very icky that as a kid I was just like I don't like.
Oh, he was a creepy prevert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Michael
That's
Keaton's
exactly.
so hot though. Like I had such a crush on him for so long. I had a gung ho poster up for like years, and that's just like a random '80s movie.
Well, and Beetlejuice, in the whole reason his whole thing is he actually committed suicide as well. Like he has a whole
Yes.
backstory where he was like a struggling comedian, and I think his wife cheated on him, which is the reason why he's like
Yeah.
kind of not a huge fan of women. And then he hangs himself.
How does that work? Because he talks about being around during like the Black Plague and stuff.
I think a lot of what he says is just bullshit.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Could be.
Yeah, he's just lying, or you know.
Or
what-
because time is not linear, and when
Yeah.
you go into the afterlife, you can do
Yeah,
pretty
that's
much
true.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so when he died, the reason why Juno says me and him work together is because the only reason they were able to work together is because they were both public servants, and all public
Yeah.
servants in the afterlife were
Uh-huh.
all people who killed themselves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, like
Interesting.
when I was little, when I first saw Beetlejuice, the thing that scared the crap out of me the most for some reason was when like they're going through the house at first and like Gina Davis pulls her face off.
That's so
Yeah.
that's jarring when
yeah,
you
I'm like,
first
that
It
was
is
see
real.
it.
jarring.
The Snake Bannister gets me.
Yes,
Yeah.
that
When I
yeah.
was-
See, that's too
Oh.
Freddy Krueger though for me.
Yeah, I hate
Yeah, but
fucking.
you love Freddy.
Oh, I do. I'm just saying that didn't like scare me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was funny. Like I like.
daughter, Chuck.
Yeah. Like I
That was
love
pretty
like
good.
Yeah.
my Friday the 13th and stuff when I was like a child and I shouldn't have, and like Freddy and everything. But like watching Beetlejuice, I'm like Freddy already did that.
Yeah.
Simpsons did it.
Simpsons did it.
All right. Anything else with Beetlejuice?
No, that's
Okay.
no. Those are all the reasons I don't
Yeah.
like it. Suicide being number one.
Yeah,
I understand that.
I think I lean into it because of me as a person, because I'm
Because
weird
of who I am as a person.
and I'm kind of dark. Not by choice. I'm not gonna. No one would be scared for me. I'm like I'm good, but maybe in my past you should have been a little worried.
So anyway, going back to ghost experiences.
Gettysburg.
Gettysburg.
Welcome to the show, Rich. We take a lot of detours.
I'm fine with it.
30-minute coffee talk. I'm banging beers.
So I was talking about the woods. Also, last night, I did feel something keep touching my head, like this portion of my head. I
In
have-
the basement.
in the basement. Yeah, there was so there was some flowers sitting behind me, like directly behind me, a little bit over here, and then a little bit over here. But there was a
Yeah,
portion.
got a little closer.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So for those who didn't hear me, because I was backing up for some strange reason, don't know why. So I had like I don't know if they were real or fake flowers. I was trying to figure that out, but I didn't figure it out. So there was like hydrangeas or something like behind me, directly behind me, to the right, and to the little bit like lower left. But there was a portion of me that didn't have anything behind me. So up here, like I felt something like just like touching my hair or touching my scalp like several times. And it was like making me itchy. And I'm like, what is making me itchy? And there was nobody beside me. Rish's brother Richard was sitting to the left or right to me, excuse me, and he wasn't doing anything. He just said, "I'm gonna mess with Rish." I'm like, "What are you gonna do? What are we gonna do?" We're gonna go see him?" Really? I'm like, "What are you gonna do? Throw stuff at her?" He's like, "Yeah, some hot coffee." I'm like, "Oh, it's a little mean. That's gonna hurt." And
That's a little mean.
that's all.
Wouldn't
So
put it past him.
that's all. So nothing like that. And then it went into the gentleman that led the tour, telling his long story that were cute,
Mhm.
funny, but repetitive. And
Yeah.
so over here, there was nothing. And I didn't see anything, but I felt something. And then after that, I was like having like increased anxiety, and I had no idea why. And that was all. That was all I experienced yesterday. And that's why I said when you said interesting, when I said, "Oh, that's really interesting," about something trying to connect with you, you can have a sign as anxiety. So I wonder if that.
That's why
This
my
is a-
entire childhood was just pure anxiety because I didn't understand it.
Yeah, this
I
this
didn't
is
hear that
this
before
is
today.
something that I don't think it's paranormal to me. It maybe I'm just reading into it weird, but I felt like when I first walked into the basement, I felt like the room was bigger than what it was. And then after we were like, so when I walked in, I felt like it was really, really open. And then when we stood up and we were leaving, I'm like, this is really small in here.
That's
Like-
interesting.
I don't know if that means anything, but when I first went in, I just felt like there was more room in there.
Do you think
That's
like you were
interesting.
expecting it to be smaller because it's a
I
basement?
really had no expectation.
No.
I just kind of like if like when you walk into a place and you're just like you're just like, I don't know, you're walking, you're like, whoa, this really opens up. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's dark. It's pure dark. So I thought maybe I thought there was more behind the darkness. And then once my eyes kind of adjusted and we got up, and I was like, oh shit, like there's no room in here to do anything.
Yeah.
So I thought that was the only thing I experienced I thought was different with the basement. It was very, very tight in there. But when I went in, I didn't feel like I was like tight. I felt like I felt like it was a big open room.
Yeah, I wonder if, like,
Interesting.
That's
if
I've
it's
never heard something. That's
because
really
of COVID
cool.
too. Like usually when you finish the basement portion, they let you walk around and look at everything too. Because there's
Yeah.
like some relics and stuff there, and
Mhm.
some like funerary stuff that's like artifacts and like antique like funerary stuff. Like
Mhm.
they have that like mock body there.
Yeah.
And then there's like on the left hand side, there's like a gated area, but you could see there's a bunch of stuff you could look down to.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I felt like but the only thing I had like it didn't give me anxiety or anything. It just like not a claustrophobic feeling, but I guess if you had claustrophobia, like because once you realize you stand up and you look around, you realize where you were just kind of narrows in. Like it just felt like everything kind of
Like
shrunk
that
on me, and I was
tunnel
like,
vision kind of comes in.
oh shit, like this is tighter than I thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was the only experience I got. Yeah.
Mhm.
Did you feel less anxiety when you left?
Yes, I was completely fine then. It was only when I was down there. And then Richard made a joke, oh, it's because you're sitting next to me. No, I'm totally fine with Richard. Richard's very nice. He's funny. He's a great person.
Now
but-
here's a question for
No,
me.
Yeah.
it's not.
I like him.
So like for me, when I feel like myself sliding into like my depression or sliding into my negative thoughts or sliding into like anxiety, I'm obviously very hyper aware that when I'm there, so I work really, really hard to get away from it. You know what I mean? Like, because obviously when you're, if anyone else has depression, for me, like it's just like I don't want to be around people. I don't want to get out of bed. I just want to stay. I just want to like I'm not doing
Just
anything.
isolate yourself.
Yeah, I'm very like isolate, push people away, and if people are trying to put in, I kind of become a dick and I push people away harder. Like that's a thing me and Heidi had to deal with for a very long time. I just turned very cold. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
so
I'm the
like
same.
there's days like even with the podcast, I'd be like, I'm not doing this today. And Heidi's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. And because you'll see in the chat sometimes I'll be like, yeah, no podcast today. And then like 3 minutes later, I'm like, never mind, podcast today. Because in my head, I'm like, no, I think if I just go into it and I go against the urge of what I need to do, and then and when everyone comes, I'm like, man, I'm glad I fucking did that. Like
Yeah,
I
I know
don't
what you
project
mean.
it to people, but I just in my like
Your
it
depression plays tricks on you.
yes.
Yeah.
So going
Fuck,
into
I have depression.
yeah. So going into like something that says like that, for if anyone who has experienced like you're saying, like I was starting to feel anxiety. For me, if I go into a spot now, because I was someone who was a super heavy believer, because I did have experiences, but then as I get older, I feel like I'm maybe becoming jaded, where I'm like, did I really have those experiences, or was I just a kid who tried to play tricks in my head? Because I do know subconsciously that if I think something hard enough, I will put myself in a situation where things that are not there are there.
But that's a big strong point, because that's how I learned through it too. Because growing up with such depression and anxiety, like I don't have anxiety anymore, but when I was in high school and when I did my year at Kutztown a little bit afterwards, I would have such crippling anxiety where I would literally get to tunnel vision and pass out.
Yeah.
And so like I know that a lot of that was my own chemistry and like my own like mental illness. I just think of TikTok. It's mental illness, isn't it?
Yeah.
But at this point now, it's because I have had the worst of anxiety. Now, like when I start feeling that, I'm just kind of like, I can have that discernment where it's just like, is this internal or is this external?
Yeah.
And it's easier. So if I'm just like in a situation where I'm just like, no, I'm uncomfortable because of this and this and this, or
Yeah.
if I'm just like, no, I'm fine, I feel something.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm turning it off. Like I'm trying. Maybe there's a possibility to have an experience, and then I start feeling it. I'm like, oh, this is probably bullshit, or maybe I turn it off, and I don't have it then. Because like a big thing with me too is like part of my growing up and changing who I am. Like I always like, oh, this person doesn't like me, or I have like a rivalry or somebody, and then I go to myself like, then for a long time I would just be like, this person hates me. But then growing up, like in more recent times, like I not confront people like in a bad way, like, but if I think there's even a shred of I'm making somebody uncomfortable or someone doesn't like me, I have a conversation about it. I'll be like, hey, make sure we're good or this fine.
Which
You
is
mean-
very healthy.
And then if the
Yeah,
person's
yeah,
like,
sure.
and if the person's like, no, I just fucking hate you, and I'm
Like,
like,
all right.
and then I'm like, all right, that at least I know it's not me in my head getting in my own head thinking like
Yeah.
4 people fucking hate me, and then
Squashing it
I don't
early.
have that
Right.
conversation, and like we didn't hate you at all, and then I wasted all that time holding on to something I didn't need. But yeah, but if I had the conversation and like, no, I fucking hate you, and I'm like, well, why? And they're like, I don't know, just don't fucking like, because that happens too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
with
some people
because
just-
who I am as a
people just don't
person, yeah, we don't click, or just for some reason we don't.
Sometimes someone's energy just awaken somebody else's
Yeah,
demons.
we're
True.
different style magnets, I
Mhm.
guess. Yeah.
True.
But yeah, I don't know. So maybe that's the thing. That's why I'm asking. It's like if you start feeling, like for me, if I'm in there and I start feeling something, like I had a little bit of it in the prison when we were in the dungeon.
Mm.
I kind of went to myself in one little
Always.
room and we turned the lights off,
Mm.
and I started feeling it, and I was like, all right, stop fucking tricking yourself. Like just fucking
Yeah.
clear your head. And then I cleared my head and I was like, I feel shit. And I was like, is it me hindering myself, or is it? I don't know. I just that's where I'm at right now when it comes to like being the open-minded skeptic or believer.
And so what happens, and like like the same thing, like in the dungeons, like when I went into the dungeon, I was like, can I close the door by myself? And the lady was like, I mean, if you want to. And I was like, yeah. So I closed the door and I was in there, and then it's like how it's like it's to the point then where it's like I used to be like that, and now I've like flipped it where it's just like I kind of like get into that headspace and I just like and then it like happens,
don't
like
you-
I relax, and then it was just then I just felt like that aggression like at me,
Ooh.
and I was just like, it is something in here, bye.
But do you, but do you fear at any point that maybe you're having an experience that's maybe not happening? It's because the mind is very powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No.
No, when I first started like getting like these feelings and like messages and ideas, I'd just be like, I'm just fucking like with myself. Like
Yeah.
and at the more and more I learned and the more and more I was taught and whatnot, it's the idea of being self-aware, but also like not letting it hinder you, because you can be self-aware and then like trick yourself out of believing something that's happening to you.
Like realistically,
Especially 'cause
a
you can't
fucking
see it.
ghost or a demon or the fucking devil himself can walk in this kitchen and nobody would see it but me, and I'd be like, I'm fucking crazy. Like,
But that's how I
But
would
that
do too.
that
yeah.
didn't just
but that's
fucking
what you have to
happen.
work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everybody's path. You don't have
Yeah.
to, but like I had to like work through that to the point where it's just like I just became aware enough to realize what I am creating and what is actually happening around me.
Yeah, I think if I did try to open up and try to do those things, I think that's where my mental block would happen. Be like, oh, I'm not really experiencing this. This is me wanting to experience this.
Mhm.
But like then again, like example with like you and Andy, you guys are very open minded. You want to experience it, and then nothing happens either. So it's
But that's wanting. Wanting.
I don't
is a very
necessarily
hard
want
thing.
to.
Yeah.
Like I'm open to it. I don't like
well,
necessarily.
even
want
Header,
to.
like
Header.
Header really
that
want,
Andy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
We got to differentiate because I
Yeah.
thought I was the only person who calls him Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him. So you guys are calling him Andy, and I'm like, Andy? I'm always so used to calling him
Yeah.
Header.
Yeah, and
Oh, I call
like
him
literally,
Andy,
I think
too.
I'm the only one who
Yeah,
calls. I felt like I'm the only one who calls him Andy.
That's the
Oh,
thing with,
I call him Andy too.
that's the thing with like Tony and Anthony. When people go up to Heidi and like Anthony, and she's like, "Who the fuck is Anthony?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the idea, and that's the whole thing too. Like when you go in and you like want to see something so bad,
Yeah,
of course
just-
you're
I
going
think
to see it.
Or
You have to get to
it'll
the
block you from it.
Yeah, and the point you have to like get to the point where it's kind of like the Buddhist teaching, where it's just like you have to not want anything. You just kind of go in there, take a deep breath, and just center yourself, and whatever is around, just kind of just feel it. You
I
don't
feel
have
like-
you don't have to sit there and be like, I want to feel something. I want to feel something. I want to feel something. You just take a breath, center yourself, and then you just. I imagine my aura, like with the light that's around you and whatnot. I imagine it like expanding out.
Mm.
So then, like, I kind of give permission without really giving like full permission, where it's
Yeah.
just like my light is expanding if you want to whatever. And so then I just sit there and like focus on that, and then I'll get like the messages, and like when I close my eyes I'll get like the flashes, and I'll like
Wow.
feel things and
So
shit.
like I had a lot of that growing up, and then when I realized like I grew up very angry, very sad, suicidal, the whole nine, and then
Bitch, me too.
when I had like for me, obviously I didn't go to therapy. I never took a pill. Like I tried depression pills once, and I didn't like the way I felt like they were fighting me.
Dude, that's a scary thing. Because
Yeah.
I tried some this summer, and it made me worse.
I was at a job
Mm.
and I took an and the antidepressant pill was supposed to be for because I was so bad with my body pain that I literally went to a doctor in tears. I'm like, if you don't fucking help me, like, there's a high chance I'm gonna fucking not be around much longer, right? And there was a lot going on, like stuff at the job was fucking with me, and then like home, and then just being in constant pain. I feel like I couldn't do anything, and obviously being a man, you can't fucking be a man no more. Like it's
That's
just
so sad.
a lot of
That
shit.
is
But
Very
like,
sad.
so for me, instead of doing like, and I took the antidepressant pills, but I was like, no, this is not like it's clouding me. Like it's not
Yes.
making me who I want, like who I
Yeah.
am. Like I feel like sometimes even when I drink, I don't like getting to the point where I'm blackout drunk or getting to the point where I start feeling drunk because I know I'm not in control of my inhibitions, and I don't like that either. Like I have to like my Batman brain kicks in. But when I do get drunk, I fucking love it because then I can let that go and just be a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Or
like
just
any
that good buzz. When
Yeah.
you're in like that sweet spot where
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Yeah. So for me, my big thing, and I do this with video games, I do this with art, I do this with everything, and I've always been this way. Is I'm a reset button person. Like, I have a hard time with Skyrim because I'll play fucking 35 hours, 40 hours. I'm like, I hate the way I built my character. Restart the whole game.
Oh my
So
gosh.
for me, that was my like I had that problem. Like not had a problem, but for me as like when I made that turning point, my life was getting good. I did that reset button, and I was like, whatever the fucking past was, I'm letting it go. I know who I wasn't good. Let that go, and then I started doing the meditation. But I was never really taught meditation. I just kind of researched it and kind of did my own version of it. But I literally would learn to fucking sit there and like Heidi said I sleep a lot, but I'm actually like I kind of go take a nap. But for the first like 2 hours I'm laying there, I'm not actually sleeping. I'm just blocking everything out, and I just put myself in like my own little chamber, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And I lay there and I just block everything out. So I think a lot of it like with the supernatural and paranormal, or even like my anger, or I don't like if people like come to me with like a problem that upsets them or anger. Like I feel like sometimes I'm I'm dismissive, but I'm not trying to be. It's just like because I'm teaching myself because
Yep.
I'm a sponge. Like if someone comes to me and gives
Yep.
me stuff, I would hold on to
It's
that.
that empath.
Yeah.
The empath curse.
So for
Yes,
me,
it
is like
is.
when people come to me and they're like, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm this. I'm
You're
like,
like, sorry.
I can't help
Can't
you
do this
because
right now.
like I'll try, but I say it's very hard. Like I'm gonna come off cold, but like when I know I'm sad and depressed, this is what I do to help. And I know it's hard to tell people like just don't be angry anymore. But
Yeah.
but for me, when I learned how to just wash that away, like someone could do something terrible to me, and I'll just be like, I'm over it. I'm fucking over it.
Mhm.
And then they'd be like, how do you do it? Like, I mean, I'm still human, right? So still sometimes if that person reappears, I'm like, fuck. Like, so sometimes it's a good test to
Yeah.
know when someone re-enters my life that did me wrong, and then it's just like this is the universe's way of saying, are you really over it? Like, and then I kind of look forward to that challenge. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm like I don't know. That's just but when it comes to supernatural thing, I think that's where if my mind's like you're experiencing, I'm like no, you're not, and I just shut down and I kind of like do
I
my little
understand that.
meditation trick and I push it all away, and then they're like, oh, now you don't feel nothing. I'm like, let's go. Yeah, I don't know. It's
No,
weird.
that's cool.
It is
I don't know if
weird.
anyone else relates to that or like when it comes to like mental things, like going into a spooky place. Like, I guess that's the overall theme I was trying to get at. If you go
Yeah.
somewhere haunted and you're like, I try to fight it harder now because I don't want to trick myself into having an experience that's not really there.
See, and I
No, I
think
totally
that
feel
I
that.
just feel like I've been to so many places and I've wanted to see things and I never have. And now I just think, well, I can't. Like, I can't dance, I can't sing, and I can't see ghosts. Like, I
Mhm.
just,
No, everybody's born with it.
you
Well,
think so?
Oh, absolutely.
Like I
Probably
with-
not dancing though.
Like probably like
I can't dance
Like
either.
a lane
I'm-
dance.
She's
suck
not
at it.
that
little
bad.
kicks.
I've never danced around you. Like,
You've
tried
danced
to.
plenty times. You're fine.
Are you
Just
like
a little, little bit Alexis. I've been
yeah,
doing
you're
that.
like, but
are you like a D Reynolds?
Yes.
La,
Oh,
la,
yeah.
la, la, la.
but no, like the North Carolina battleship thing, like
Yeah.
that's one that I think I may have seen something, but I don't like the way I just felt like literally, like I said, the hair on the back of my neck stand up when that happened.
And it was hot as shit in there, too.
Yeah, but like I don't go to the battleship thinking, oh, it's haunted. I go to the battleship like this is a World War II.
Yeah.
Like this is really cool.
Yeah.
This is something like my dad was in the Navy in like the '60s, and I'm like, this is what they lived on. I'm like, that's what I'm going for. But then
Yeah.
I have that one weird thing in a room that happened to have gotten torpedoed. I'm like, did I see what I saw?
Yeah.
And it's like, cool.
Yeah, like even if we did an episode, like I'm not saying I'm against it, but if like a ghost hunting team was like, do you want to do a collaboration? I'd be all for it.
I would be cool.
But
I
like,
love
But
that.
they'd have to be like, but understand.
but I would be like, listen, if you guys start getting really fucking like in my world, what I would perceive as weird or like all right, so like full disclosure, when we met those people, they're very nice people. But when
Very
she started
nice.
doing the dousing rod thing, I was like, I checked out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
I
a big.
was
I'm
like,
not a
no.
big dusting rod believer.
And honestly, and the reason for that too is because when we did the Ouija board thing, and I kind of heard like the scientific or the reasoning behind of that.
Yeah, and
Now-
we looked at it.
Now you don't have to
Mhm.
buy into that at all. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But to me, that makes sense
Yeah, the whole- the
scientifically
Ouija-
of why
Ouija
it
board,
does what it
why
does.
you move.
Yeah. Because
I still believe it.
because once again, I
yeah,
feel
it's like me with the tarot cards.
yeah, I
Yeah, I
honestly
believe tarot cards
I
as well.
feel I see I buy into tarot cards, but I think
I do
there's
too.
two different versions of tarot cards that I can buy into. Like I think tarot cards is a game of like where I feel like the universe when you shuffle a deck and get something, right? The tarot cards mean what they mean. You know what I mean? Now,
Yes.
not putting it like so when I do a tarot card reading, I'm not claiming to be a psychic, an empath, anything like that. So
You
I'm
are.
literally telling you, hey, listen, I'm gonna pull up on my app and on the book what the card actually means.
Mhm.
So there's no way I'm just fucking deceiving you. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
I'm even attempting
Yeah.
to. I'm giving you the so like. But if you go to a tarot card reader and you don't know the meaning of any of the cards and you don't know anything, they can literally flip that over and just fucking cater to your ego and tell you what you want to hear, and then you
Mhm.
can leave
Yeah,
there
that's
and be
very
like, I
true.
believe all of that. You know what I mean?
That's very
Well,
true.
I did one in Gettysburg actually last November, and a group of us did it, and mine was like, she's like, "Are you a twin?" I'm like, "No." And, "Oh, you're gonna have kids? You want kids?" I'm like,
That's because you and
"No."
Andy walked in together, and she
No,
thought,
we've gotten that before, but it was no boys. But my mom got a really, really good reading. Very like she knew the name of her dead brother who died when
so
he
here's
was
my
like.
thing: how the fuck does a
Interesting.
tarot card? So me trying to learn tarot cards.
Well, I guess she's
It's
a
just
medium,
the medium
too.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
you use your medium.
But everything she said to me was like, oh, nah. Like, I didn't relate to any of it. But my mom came out crying. My friend Melanie came out crying. So there was, like, a lot of them that really hit them. And for me, and a couple, like me and I think 2 other people, just nothing.
Yeah, I think when it comes, because this topic of the show goes many different things.
Mhm.
So me as the skeptic and stuff, where I have fear, not fear for people, but this is where I have my concern. Where like I feel like with this stuff, you can be very easily taken advantage of,
absolutely.
Mhm.
especially if you're maybe too gullible or you buy in everything too much.
Yeah.
So like then when I talk to people, I'm like, just put a little bit of a barrier up, just for your own
Yeah.
safety. Because like
Yeah.
even with like going
Yep.
like if you go to a doctor or if you go to a psychiatrist or you go to a therapist, like I personally feel like I think you could be educated on the topic, and I think that's very good. But I also think too, if someone just sucks at their job, like
Yeah.
I personally know many therapists, right? And I know people who are good people that are good therapists, and then I know people who are like
Thank you.
like
Thank
Bree.
you.
But I
Thank
also know
you.
people who are complete fucking shitheads and can't
Yeah.
fucking tie their own shoes, and they're a therapist and they're giving people advice. I'm like,
Right.
that's fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Or like you're fucking prescribing people shit to put in their bodies, and you can't even fucking pour a glass of milk. You know what I mean? Like, so like sometimes even going to doctors, like especially with with my disorder, like
Yeah.
I go to a doctor and like, all right, kid, we're gonna write you 14 scripts for Valium and Percocets and
Oh.
OxyContin, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not taking any of that. And they're like, well,
No.
you're gonna be in pain. I'm like, I'd rather be in pain than fucking you just be lazy.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like even with this, so taking it a step further with obviously like mediums and psychics and stuff can hit you in an even more vulnerable spot and put you in, especially if you already
Absolutely.
struggle with mental illness,
Yeah.
and then you go to one of those places. Like fuck, man. Like that's why I'm like, you better be legit, because if not, I'm gonna be upset. Like that's where I get like I take
Yeah.
it personal in a way.
And see, when
Yeah.
I went,
Yeah,
I didn't have
absolutely.
like any. I wasn't like closed off, but I wasn't completely open to it. So I didn't have much of a reading, and like you were saying, it could get somebody worked up. But that actually, after we left Gettysburg or when we were leaving, was the first time I had like a really bad panic attack,
Yeah.
Aw.
and then it started. But then I also left my bag there, and me and Andy had to drive all the way back and found Fourscore
Yeah,
that
that was
day.
the first time we went to Fourscore.
Everything happens for a
Well,
reason.
Yeah.
here's the me like completely flipping the script here too. Maybe you were a twin, just didn't know. Because there's sometimes where people are born like
yeah,
that. And
but you
then-
know what? Actually, my friend who was there, she's a twin. So I was thinking
Oh,
maybe her
interesting.
energy was like.
that's true too.
Mixing it.
Yeah,
up.
that could be.
Yeah.
That
Jones.
happens, I
So
think.
once again, too, for full disclosure, if anyone makes it fucking an hour and 50 minutes into the episode, and if you are a medium or a psychic, I'm not gonna fucking come to your episode to look to disprove you and treat you like shit either. Like that's not who I am either.
Yeah.
But
that's-
also be open for hard questions.
yes,
That's right.
That's
Mhm.
nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Um,
Well, let's get into unless you.
I
yeah.
did. Yeah, I wasn't done yet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, Bree.
Well, you are now, Bria.
I'm never done.
Yeah.
I will not be
No, I'm not
silenced.
rushing, so I don't care if it's a longer episode.
So yeah, I wanted to come back and share like my comment on what you were saying
Mhm.
before, because I didn't really get to. So I also have anxiety. I just deal with it on my own. I am a therapist, so I do know how to deal with it. Some people may say that's healthy. Some people may not say it's healthy. It's totally your call.
Yeah.
So I didn't have anything triggering me at all. I was having a good day, having a good time with everybody. So there would be no reason for me to have any anxiety. So it just came out of nowhere. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what the hell's happening? Why,
Yeah.
why am I having anxiety? This is so fucking weird. So I had to like calm myself down. And then after I did that, with like, for no reason, that's when I started to feel the stuff on my head. So I don't know if they were related or not. As I had said before, I hadn't heard that you would have anxiety if somebody was trying to channel through you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I did share with some people before that sometimes I have like premonitions and stuff. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. I don't really know.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
very
interesting
possible.
that it like
People that are empathic and like spiritual people, like 9 times out of 10, always have really bad anxiety or like mental health disorders.
oh,
Yeah, that
so
would-
that's what's going on.
That
with
would
me
explain
lately.
me.
Well,
But it's
how many times?
interesting after you calmed yourself down is when it started to touch you.
It's like when
Yeah.
you when you
Yes.
let go of the
Yes.
fear is
Yeah.
when more comes in.
I mean, how many times in
Yes.
history have we had people that were deemed to be psycho or creepy or weirdos and maniacs, and then you turn around and you're like, dude, what they were saying was pretty fucking close. You know what I mean? And you're like,
Mhm.
all right. Like, is it just us kind of, because that's a big thing with supernatural. A lot of people have experiences, then don't want to say them because they don't want to be deemed as being crazy or less educated or not a smart person.
Which is why I haven't publicly
Exactly.
talked about my alien experiences.
Yeah. So it's that's the cool thing about this podcast. We try to attack it from every angle. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
and my premonitions usually come through the form of dreams, which I shared with Tori, and you were here for that. I don't remember if you were here for that, Nikolai, or not. I don't remember.
I dream a lot,
Yeah,
but I
do
don't know
too.
how much of it is my dream, how much is me in meditation mode, and then
It's all the same.
and then a lot
Yeah.
of it for me is I'll have them, and then when I wake up, I don't remember a single thing about them.
I remember. I sometimes remember, and then as I'm living it, I remember the dream I had. That's how I remember. I think I may have told that to you. I think, and you were probably there.
I think I
shared
had
it
one
with
dream
Rich.
recently that I remember, and I actually forgot to tell you it because it had something to tell you about. I'll tell you off camera.
So
actually,
anyway.
I can tell you.
Did you guys make out?
Actually,
Yeah.
I'll tell. 'Cause it is
Oh.
kind of supernatural. So we were talking about he wanted to do like a movie idea or a short film idea.
Mhm.
So this
What are we
was
talking about? Are we talking about my idea?
no. I'm gonna tell you mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this was my, and it don't laugh, right? So this is it's because now I'm getting self-conscious, like it's stupid.
No.
But it's kind of like and I don't know why this dream happened, right? Maybe because we had the conversation, right? But he wanted to do some type of like supernatural-ish thing, but
Mhm.
not have to do the special effects, and it's more or less, his style of shooting. And my thought was that this person is like a medium or a channeler, or he has this ability, but he only has it when he has relations with somebody. So kind of like a Good Luck Chuck movie. Remember the one with Dane
Yeah,
Cook?
I
That's
like
sex
that.
magic.
Yeah. So
what that
So
is.
his thing is like kind of the same boat where he's just never happy. But I forget what the twist was that made it different from that. But like the same thing where girls it became the thing like where hey, go to him and he'll fucking he'll tell you like the next person after that will be the next person. So it's kind of in that realm, but I kind of now forget the details because I kind of freaked myself out as I was talking. But it's along those same lines where he can help figure things out, but it's in that aspect too. Like he can never find true happiness because he's always kind of blocked by his own thing. Yeah. But then I just realized like I don't know the other details. I forgot, so it just sounds like I'm just talking about Good Luck Chuck. So that was a waste of time.
No, it wasn't.
Go back to what you were talking about.
So yeah, anyway,
quickly.
moving on. Poor Tony, you did a nice job.
In my head, I'm like, you're literally just saying a movie that was already
Yeah,
made.
I'm like, I think that exists.
Yeah.
Um,
As I mute my mic.
So yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I had never heard that before.
Scratch
You
that
had said
idea.
that, Tori. So I didn't know.
might
I
get
just thought I
sued.
was having anxiety, and then I felt that thing on my head. So maybe it was trying to talk with me or whatever. So that was one experience. And I don't know. We've talked about that ghost before. That's a guy ghost who likes to mess with women because he's a very angry ghost, doesn't like women. So I was thinking as we were leaving, maybe it was that ghost just trying to mess with me. Now he's usually a little more malicious than that. So I mean, that was just kind of like really like mild, but
And
He knows you're all about your hair.
yes,
Yeah.
he does. So
Tingling.
then maybe he would mess with me because he doesn't like my
Also,
hair.
tingling on the head happens a lot, like with channeling, and because it's like through the chakra system. The top of the head is the crown, which is like the gateway for like channeling. So it's like tingling on the head. Like he might have been trying to like come in to like give you a message.
Oh, that's very
Or
interesting.
he's probably like a fucking kid from the Civil War, and he's like, "This girl has bright lips and fucking different color hair. I've never,
It's
seen,
like,
I've
"Damn,
never
this
seen,
is
I've never seen this
cool."
before."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe he wants to ask me about it. Like, hey, what's going on with this wacky hair and makeup? What's up with you? I'd gladly tell him or her, whoever it was.
I'm just saying, I like your style. I'm just saying, to a kid from the Civil War, it's
Yeah.
probably very confusing.
They knew you were.
Probably
They knew you had a therapist energies. They were like, I gotta talk about some shit.
Oh, you know,
Well,
that probably
I
is
can't remember
true.
if this is the same ghost or not, but there's one that they were telling us about on one of the walks that was like, don't go and don't whistle like Dixie, because like he'll have like I think it's a Confederate ghost, but like they're like people would try to like goad him by like whistling Dixie or something like that, or
Oh.
like talking shit on the South, like they're trying to get a rise out of the
Yeah.
spirit. But I can't remember if that was in the Farnsworth.
I don't think it was.
It's somewhere around that area though. That they're like people would go like whistle Dixie and be like, the ghost would like knock their hat off or something.
Like,
Oh,
is that all
okay.
you
Not the
got,
worst
bitch?
thing you
That's
can
why you
do,
lost
yeah.
the war, pussy.
You'd be like, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Your horn's the Duke's of Hazzard horn now.
Yeah.
Nothing else, buddy.
All right, I'm not interrupting Bree anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So maybe that's what was happening then. And I'd be curious to hear like which ghost it was and what they wanted to say. Because I would allow. I honestly, if it was a kind, caring ghost, I really don't know if I'd be open to a malevolent. Thank
It
you.
was Beetlejuice.
Spirit. Don't want to hear him either.
It was
Don't
Ring
wanna-
Wraith Beetlejuice.
maybe I'd hear a ring wraith as a
You don't wanna
Lord of the
listen to
Rope.
them. You don't want to talk to them. They're not good.
Yeah, they're not nice either. But anyway, yeah, so maybe I'd be interested to hear one of them. But so that was an experience. I'm learning a lot. And then there's that wood experience. I probably did have more experiences now that I'm learning from Tori here about several things throughout the years. I can't remember all of them. I know I had some experiences at my old job that was in a renovated hotel as a therapist, having feelings I need to get out now, I need to get out now, I need to get out now.
Sorry, I just something came to my head that we can talk about later, but
Okay,
it just made
yeah.
me laugh.
Yeah, so I did work in a haunted hotel supposedly. So that was my old job years
Wow.
ago.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I have that experience a lot where I have something tell me I need to leave immediately. I don't know why. So, but that's not really related to Gettysburg. I'm trying to can't have anything come to mind besides those most recent ones. But if I think of
Or
any,
like
I'll
you have
let
your
you know.
spider sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it seems
It's
like.
tingling.
I've had that a few times.
So Bree's
Spidey
gonna
sense.
Bree's gonna pick out some ghost stories from Gettysburg.
Yes.
Yes.
Who wrote this book and
Yes, I'll show it. So this here is
This is from the
ghost-
Farnsworth bookstore, right? I think.
I don't
Oh,
know.
this is your dad's.
This
isn't
is
it?
our dad's
Yeah.
book that I found in my house. He gave this to me like for one of our many trips. He's like, Brie, I want you to read this book and pick out some stories for us to look at tomorrow.
Aw.
And I did, I remember. But then I think I forgot the book. And then I found it when I was cleaning my house last week. So here it is. The Ghost Hunters Field Guide, Gettysburg and Beyond by Mark Nesbitt. I don't know.
Oh,
where
and
to-
he does tours there.
We can take a
Mark-
picture. We can take
Yeah.
a picture
Yeah,
of
we
it
can
and
take a
then put it
picture
on.
and
yeah,
post
we'll,
it
we'll
on
take a picture
the-
and post it and be like,
Yeah.
hey, Mark, do you want to do a podcast?
Yeah, I think he still does.
That would be great.
I think we've
That
gone
would
on
be
one with
great.
him.
I think we might have. Yeah.
Yeah.
We reached out to, what is it, James?
Like real quick while you're looking at that,
Yeah, go for it.
my sister-in-law contacted me about somebody in the area who might be interested in doing a podcast. Don't let me forget.
Yeah.
Ooh, fun.
We reached out to that Charles J. Adams III, the guy who writes the Co-Regent Ghost Canyon books.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
And he politely declined, said he doesn't do podcasts, but then
Wah, wah.
he did like
Rude.
3 other podcasts. so.
What?
Charles.
Burn that book. Just
Son
burn
of
it.
a bitch.
Charles.
Yeah.
Listen, I respect him because a lot of the times when you Google search ghost stories in School County, everyone just rips off his book anyway.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So I went through this really quick, and I picked places that we were like kind of at yesterday to just kind of focus on. The first one I picked out was Pickett's Charge because we were there, and it says there's a lot of haunted activity there. Let me just see. It tells you how
Well,
to
that
get
was
there.
the history behind that real quick because this is one of the only ones I actually got a lesson from Rich's brother. Because Nikolai knew a lot about it too. Is Pickett's Charge is pretty much they just, for the most part, just lowered their head and ran into a fight and had the low ground and got decimated.
Yeah.
And then
Jeez.
not many
Can't
people made it out
imagine
from the
that.
Union sign.
Yeah.
Then they just kind of lowered their head and ran
Or
into
no,
it.
it was the Confederates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ran up the hill, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the. I thought. Well, I thought I said the
You said
Union.
yeah.
I fucking.
And then
The-
Pickett came back.
Turn your head.
Pickett came back, and then
Yeah.
one of the generals was like, "All right, were you ready for round 2?" He's like, "I got no men left."
Yeah.
So it was like,
Wow.
Yeah. They just
Yeah.
pretty much just ran to their deaths.
Can you imagine
Yes,
being?
that's
Can you imagine being that
devastating.
general? That's just kind of like, well, there's trauma for the rest of my life.
I
Yeah.
quit.
If I
Yes.
don't,
We
if
lost.
I don't die right
Yeah.
now.
Or being one of those kids. I guess they were kids, a lot of them.
There was
Oh, a lot of them.
1,123 killed, 4,019 wounded, and 3,750 captured during Pickett's Charge.
And they were mostly from Tennessee. Like it was like
No, that was one section of them. That
Oh.
that monument, like that whole side of the battlefield we were on, was the Confederate side that we rode through because it has like all of that, like that those cannons that were facing toward like Little Round Top and everything was the Confederate line,
yeah.
and that's where they were like bombarding that with the cannons to try to make room for the infantry.
Yeah.
But it didn't work.
It's like, I don't have.
They
I
didn't
don't
have the high ground like Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I don't have disrespect or I don't have hatred or I don't have anything against military or war. It's so, to me, just so senseless.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. I agree.
Barbaric.
Yeah. It's like, "Ooh, nothing gets done if you don't fight." I'm like,
Actually, more
Well, I
gets
mean,
done
it
when you
disagree.
don't.
Right.
It depends what the issue is. Like we look at like World War II, like the invasion of Normandy is what like turned the tides of that, or like we might be speaking German right now.
yeah, well, yeah. if someone's trying to take everything over, then be like, yo, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? But it's
Let's
just like,
defend our ground.
I don't like what you believe and you don't like what I
Right.
believe. Let's kill each other over it.
Let's
Well, I
have
mean,
a
that's what the
senseless
whole,
war
like,
over oil.
Basically,
Or
like I
religion.
mean, the Confederacy they try to create a new country,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Washington's like, nope.
Yeah.
And that's the Articles of Confederacy is when they seceded from the Union, like they tried to create a new nation, feeling that their values were not aligned with DC and the North, and then basically they were trying to become another country, and that's what all We're like, well, like, nope.
Mm.
It's like, you're
Well-
part of the union, brother.
We'll fight you for it.
Yeah, basically.
Exactly.
Basically, I mean, that's what it boiled down to. It's like,
But realistically, I just been like, all right, we lost. Fuck that. We're gonna build a wall, and this shit's ours. You don't like it? Come fucking fight us on our land. Like, no, you never do well when you go on someone else's turf.
I agree.
That's true.
So the moral of the story is, if you want to do your own thing, fucking build a wall,
Just do it.
build your little perimeter, make
Well,
your line in the
well, I
sand,
think
and be like,
Become your own
what it more
Vatican.
boils down to, I mean, that's not like empires fall. I mean, look at the Romans.
Yeah,
Look
sure.
at all
They
that.
do.
And-
Like, the Persians, the Greeks, it
Yeah.
all falls eventually.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, though, in their situation, they were working with England at the time,
Yeah.
and we were cutting off their transport of guns and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
we had a hard
So-
blockade. That's what in Southport, because they had blockade runners in Southport that would try to like beat the blockade to meet up with the British for arms for the South.
Mm.
Because that's what like when Richard was telling us about, like when the Confederate Army came north to Gettysburg, it was like a supply run almost. Because like they're running low on supplies, they're running low on ammunition. They didn't have enough for another siege of another area, so it's like they're going to try to hit, have a quick victory, and it didn't work out.
yeah. I think strategy. I'm just like trying to think strategy here too. Like, obviously, like you look at the election. If you look, like a lot of the mid-tier places are all like one side, and then big cities are another. And then those you can win 3 big cities and still have the more of the population to win the country. So
Well, that's why the electoral college is in.
yeah, but I'm saying even as like a war strategy, like if you think about it, if England had a bone to pick with anybody during the Revolutionary War, it would definitely be the North, right? So then you're like, okay, England or U.S. is having some turmoil. I would probably, if it was me, is like, do I side with the South because the North kind of whooped our ass last time, and those Gullo boys are kind of fucking crazy, right?
Yeah, but the British were kind of butthurt over the Revolutionary War,
Yeah.
the War of 1812, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
but
we were kind of like, they're like, oh, maybe we could take those to get rid of the Yankees.
Yeah. So then, like, but if I think if I was gonna pick a side, if I was England at that time, I think I would have maybe teamed with the South because, like I said, the North is pretty much everything. They set the structure.
Well, that's what they tried to do. Like, that's why the
Yeah.
blockades were there. Like,
Yeah.
the British are trying to send, like, munitions and stuff to
Oh,
the
so they
South.
were trying to work
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
they
South.
were
Oh,
trying
okay.
to,
I
but
I misheard you. Okay.
Since we're there first,
Yeah.
we were there to cut them off. And
Yeah.
Take it.
fuck them.
Yeah, we had there
Yeah.
was a blockade in the Atlantic. And that, like I said, that's what Southport, North Carolina was like blockade
Interesting.
runners.
Yeah, I misheard you there.
Oh.
Yeah, because then once again too, like if you take most of the South and you just take the population of Pittsburgh, New York, New Jersey, or Pittsburgh, New York City, like the New York City, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, and New York, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. I mean that can be probably build enough of an army to take over most of the South. You know, and you're not even counting most of the you know what I mean. Like,
At that time, though, it wasn't probably not. But also, like, the problem is on both sides. Like, you just have a lot of, like, farmers and shit. It's like,
yeah. No one's really trained
you're
to be a
getting, like,
warrior.
conscripted into, like, this civil war, and they're like, I don't fucking want to fight, but
Yeah.
I got to do it anyway.
Your
Wow.
army is only 300. He's like, what is your profession? I'm a potter. Sparta, what is your profession?
This is Spartanburg.
Like,
So
everyone.
I have more soldiers than you do.
Yeah. That's a great line in that movie. Yeah.
I love that.
All right, Bree.
All right, so kind of like a little bit around General Robert E. Lee's monument stone around Reynolds Woods.
We passed that.
Yep. Okay, I thought we did. So kind of around there, you can sometimes see around dusk a whole bunch of lights kind of down by the woods. And they're saying that is, if I understand this correctly,
Probably lanterns.
yeah, lanterns from, let's see, I don't know. I want to say Armistead's Virginia Brigade, the 9th, 14th, 38th, 53rd, 57th Virginia regiments. So that's pretty cool.
Well, it's funny you mentioned lights because, like, during the Civil War was when they discovered, like, the angel's glow. Like, there was soldiers that would be, like, fallen in battle, but, like, when they'd be going through, like, the fields of corpses, there was a bacteria
Oh, yes, I
that
thought
would grow in the
that's-
wounds of certain soldiers based on where they're at, and it was, like, bioluminescent.
Yeah.
And they were
Yes.
able to, like,
Whoa.
save those.
That's how they
soldiers.
found
Yeah,
them.
that's how they found them. That's how they were able to save those soldiers.
I always
Oh,
thought
that's
that
I
was
just got
incredible.
chills.
Yeah,
on
Yeah.
they call it the
body.
angel's glow.
Holy shit!
I
Oh
just
my
read
god,
about
my
that, like, a
whole
year or so-
body just
Yeah.
like
Wasn't there a
chills.
thing too where a lot of people
Whoa.
were like they'd be wounded, but the fields had this might have been Pickett's Charge where there was so much blood on the ground, and it was so thick and like it just like some people were like they were shot in the leg and couldn't move or they were injured and they ended up like drowning.
Well, I don't know
Wow,
about, but like more
Holy
people
moly.
died.
I
of-
could see that.
More people
Yeah.
died of disease than combat.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And-
But yeah, the Angels Glow, that was like there was I want to say I forget the specific region that like came, but like whatever that bacteria was that was there would like fester in like a wound and like it would glow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's
that
the most
cool?
incredible thing I've ever heard in my life.
I know when I first read about that like 2 years ago, I'm like, that is amazing.
Oh my
How
god.
fortunate though for
There's
those
the-
people.
Wow.
The way she said about seeing lights just kind of like
It could be that too.
Yeah.
You're
It
seeing,
could be
seeing
that,
people's
yep.
bodies on the ground
Yeah, one or the other.
Whoa.
glowing like cogs from Gears of War.
And we drove through a seminary yesterday, if you guys remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So people who stay at the seminary will sometimes be awakened by a scream piercing through the dormitory hall.
Mm.
Moaning Myrtle.
Yeah, so
Just
this
saying.
this is being told from
Such a
the
bitch.
point of view of a yeah,
Which one was the
moaning-
seminary? The seminary.
that was when we drove through like it looked like a college.
Yeah,
Like
Oh,
a
okay,
small,
okay.
yeah.
It had like the like bell tower where like
Yeah.
the Union would like scope the battlefield.
so let me see if I can find the name of it here. I thought I saw it. It's a Lutheran seminary.
Yeah,
and we
Seminary
were,
Ridge.
yeah, I think we couldn't figure out what kind of religion, like which
It was right
religion
on the
it
one
was.
side. It was Lutheran. It was just
Yeah.
right on
Oh.
like one of the flags.
It was them there,
and then Rich
Lutherans.
was like, "Oh, duh, I knew that."
Wasn't they kind of luminary or something? It was like pushing the words together. Lutheran seminary.
Yeah,
Luminary.
Luminary.
Yeah.
Lutheranary.
Lutheranary.
Yeah, so I think they're saying John Fulton Reynolds is one of the people who died around there.
What was the name of that fort we went upstairs to?
Oh, I
Like
don't
that
know.
Oh, that's
Castle?
just that's a
castle,
monument.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't
No,
really there.
no, that was
No.
that was the Union Vantage Point on Little Round Top,
Mm.
where like they were basically so like the Union was on Little Round Top, and, like firing down on Devil's Den.
I was gonna say because if they were there,
Oh yeah,
that
that was
long,
the little
how-
castle
how the
thing.
fuck
It
did
would
they
have been
build
cool
that
if that
castle?
was there.
Yeah, that was just
that
a
would have been
monument.
great.
Yeah.
Oh.
But there's more to this story here. So, this student that was at this college, he woke up in the middle of the night to a piercing scream. He thought it was one of his friends. So he thought somebody was fooling around, so he went back to sleep. About an hour later, he was awakened by a chill in his room. He opened up his eyes to see a man, or rather half a man, the top half standing darkly,
The top part.
glowering in his very room. He stood to confront the intruder, and the dark bearded man vanished before his eyes.
See, that shit freaks me out even more
would
than a
love-
whole person. Just seeing half a person.
Have a person? Yeah.
No.
I feel like it'd be worse if it was just the legs.
It's all
It's
that.
like you always
It's the
see the
bottom
face
part.
and stuff, but it's like,
It's
what do you
the
do with
leg.
legs? It's like,
It's just
It
the
reminds me of Jimmy
crotch.
Neutron, like that
Yeah.
episode with the pants, where the pants were just walking around.
I would love to
Fun
see that.
creepy.
So if we can get onto this seminary at night next time we're there, this is what it says.
And we can
From-
drive through there whenever it's public. I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, this is what we need to do. From the road that runs through the seminary, on certain nights can be seen what some parapsychologists call a warp or a tear in the veil of time. Out of place, out of
Love
all
that.
worldly order. Me too. That's why I want to go back.
I
From
gotta
the
put
edge
that
of the
back.
woods will be seen a strange flashing line of lights, the color ranging from light to navy blue. They light it up as if firing at will from one end of the line to the other, a recreation of what happened there some 14 decades in the past. But the hue is more associated with the supernatural than historical fact.
Hmm.
So that's very interesting. So there's a few things that happen. I'm gonna go in this seminary at night. They better
Hell
leave those
yeah.
doors open. I'm looking for that man, and I'm
Who's gonna
looking
kick
for
it
the,
in?
Yeah.
Gonna
that's
listen
right.
for that scream.
And I'm looking for that half man, and I'm looking for the warp or tear in
Half
time.
man.
Half man.
bearded
We
man.
have Tyrion at home.
I could bring him with.
No, you'll be hearing piercing screams, all right.
It's gonna be, but it's not gonna
Yeah.
be ghosts.
Well, he'll just lick my face the whole time,
Yeah, he
like he
will.
always does. So maybe he
Aw.
won't be barking. Just be licking off my makeup.
Tyrion's a rapist.
That's her dog.
He just likes to lick my face. I don't know. That's okay. I really like Tyrion. So then we move on to Devil's Den and the Slaughter
Mm.
Pen.
Devil's End's so cool.
I really- Yes,
It's such a weird spot
Mhm.
too,
It
because
is.
it's like
it is.
farmland, and then all of a sudden this giant rock outcropping.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like,
Probably aliens.
Yes,
I
I'm
mean,
sure. I'm sure.
You would
Hi.
have been a horrible soldier in that fight. You'd have been like,
Yeah, jumping off of shit. Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna go
they
John
might have
Wick.
loved you.
Parkour!
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go John
Be
Wick
the
these
best fighters.
motherfuckers. Yo,
She
give me my
does
bayonet.
all the time. You're gonna, and the day you can't
I will
do
fall
it,
off of that one day.
you'll be like, okay, I'm old.
I was funny when everyone's like, Heidi, go stand underneath him and jump over. I'm like, you know, if he starts to slip, Heidi's not catching him. She's running
Oh,
away.
I knew
Like
it
her
wouldn't.
face,
Well,
sir,
I love
please
it
do
when
not
you're
kill
like-
me.
I'm like, it's like a 6-foot gap, and it's like you're like Rich is like, come on, jump again. I'm like, it's not like it's like
Yeah,
I'm
but
jumping like a 30-foot
You
gap.
do
or
it all the
something.
time.
I love it. And
I
I
know,
like
you
climbing
don't-
around those rocks.
That's where I got.
Sir,
I got.
please do not kill me.
That's where I got most of my pictures from. Is Andy would like jump around the rocks, and he would
Yeah.
just sit down and kind of like gaze, like he would like meditate for a second or two, and then he would get up and jump to another rock and
They
sit
said
down.
one night can't do that anymore, so I'll feel old.
Yeah,
Yeah. 37, you can do it.
that was me. I could. I was like, I'll
To be
jump.
fair, you did have a camera, so that's a little.
We'll go with that.
risk.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm fat and out of shape.
So in Devil's Den, this was before there was like clear roads and things like we have today in the national park. 2 hunters got lost. They had wandered around for a while, backtracking and running into dead ends in a labyrinth of giant rocks. Unlike us, who wander that all the time and jump over them all the time. Unless they got out, they would have to spend the night in this eerie place. It says. Suddenly, they spotted what would be what they thought was another human. They couldn't describe his attire, but it must have been something compelling. He signaled for the men to follow them. So, like, I guess the apparition or the ghost signaled for the men to follow, which they did at a distance. They suddenly found themselves in a familiar area where they could find their way out of Devil's Den. When they tried to catch up and thank the stranger who led them to safety, he simply vanished before their eyes.
Wait, this
The hunt-
is like hunters.
Yeah,
they were
so
in Devil's Den, and they.
we're lost.
Yeah.
So I guess it was like way before it was a national park and like maybe kept up.
Another
before it was
interesting
today.
thing is when I see big rocks like that, I think, well, probably not now, right? Because there's a lot of traffic and people are always there. But like they're normal. And you said you've seen one when you were there, but that's like a huge nesting ground for snakes.
That's what I always
Yes.
think
Yeah.
too.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's what it's named after.
Yeah.
Devil's Den it was a giant black snake that lived there. They called him the Devil.
Oh, okay.
wow.
Yeah, that's where he got his name from.
So I was
That's
like, you think
interesting.
yourself like you're that's where you're camping and you're laying on your belly,
Oh.
in the middle of dusk or night, you're trying to, fight a war
And
and
you
all.
just see like
Yeah, and fucking snakes
That
everywhere.
Sucks. Yeah.
There's a snake
I would
in my
hate
boots.
Is
that.
it a bat? What kind of snake?
It's a black snake.
Oh,
I mean, they're not
They
venomous,
don't
But he's
but-
big. I
bother
mean,
anybody.
black
So-
snakes are probably like some of the bigger snakes in Pennsylvania. So
And the thing that sucks
they
is
look
Not-
intimidating,
not
but they're
poisonous.
not.
they probably
Yeah.
get caught and they get relocated because it's a historical spot. And they're like, "Fuck you! I don't care if you live here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
Well, when we
Snakes.
were there back in the summer, there was one hanging out in the rocks. He was just
I
like,
did
"Hey, man,
not- I
what's
know I
up?"
did see that. It wasn't big
Yuck.
though.
No, it was a small black snake, but
Yeah.
he was just chilling out in the one rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
tell
having
me
a good
though.
time.
Tell me though that is not like the scariest like movie scene in the entire world. Like two guys just sitting like at dusk or whatnot, and you just see somebody like
Right.
far away in the field, Nope. just standing there, just going.
And would you
And, like,
follow
tell-
them?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
these
say,
guys
would
did.
you?
Woo!
They were
Oh my
lost.
God.
They
If
thought that was a
I'd be
stranger
like-
helping them
If you're
because they were
if,
lost.
if you're desperate and
They
you're
wandered.
lost in the woods,
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
be thinking that guy's gonna kill me.
Well, to be fair, they were hunters, so I'm assuming they have guns.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So if anybody tries
And
to screw
knives
with
and
them,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
You
the
got
ghost
me.
was like
For-
helping
forgot their
them, which was
compass,
nice.
though.
Oh, so they
Yeah.
so the ghost was like that's the whole thing. Did they like find their way then? or-
Yeah, they were able to get home then because they were wandering around for a while, and it was like they were thinking they're gonna have to camp out.
yeah, you have to realize too. Like, I mean, that is a lot of farmland, but even back then in Gettysburg, that was probably so like Pennsylvania is just fucking lush with trees.
Yeah.
It is
God, yeah.
absolutely
So like,
God.
so easy.
so
to get
now we go to
lost.
it. Like even when we were there before, like we were at the first spot. I'm like, I asked your brother, like, do you think those trees were there during the war? He goes, I don't know, like, because he said probably not because they don't look like they're that old.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know how long it takes for a tree to get fucking huge.
like 100 years, right?
Depends on the style of tree.
Yeah.
Some
Right.
some
Yeah.
trees you can plant like when you're like a kid.
It
put
was
a
like
tree-
one of my mom's yard that I planted when I was like 6, and now it's like huge.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
it could take like 10 years and you could have a fucking giant tree.
Yeah.
Oh, all right
Yeah.
then.
So it's just like, that's how I always thought too. I thought trees, because I guess
I
the first,
did. I thought it was 100.
I think the first time I ever learned about trees is like a redwood. Like
I
it
was
takes
gonna say
100
they're
years to
all
get this
redwoods.
big. Yeah,
I'm going to
Um,
plant trees right now.
yeah. So it's just crazy
Plant more
like,
trees, people.
how
Yes.
Yes, we
how these
actually do need
areas
them.
were just fucking probably torn out
Well,
so
like-
people can see the fields that people died in.
I mean,
yeah.
if you can
Yeah.
just think without those roads being there, it would be very easy to get lost. 'Cause,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like,
Oh,
there's not
yeah.
a lot of landmarks. I mean, it's just like there's the Devil's Den, but it's like if I was Devil's Den and those roads weren't there, I'd be like, all right, well, I'm
Oh,
in
yeah.
a field somewhere.
Right.
take
Well, look
Devil's
at that-
Den and just have people stop maintaining it and
Yeah.
let the weeds and the grass and everything grow out. Like
Mm.
that would be a fucking
That'd be a nightmare
yeah,
for
it'd be
me.
terrifying. I wouldn't walk through there.
I wouldn't either.
I see high grass. I'm like, not a fucking chance.
That poor kid that was
Snakes
driving
everywhere.
his car backwards.
Oh my
he
God,
got
yeah.
lost.
Oh my God.
That was so funny.
That was
poor
awful.
Poor
The
kid.
ghost
That
hunter
kid
lady
was literally
roasting
like
him.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
What
he
is
just
he
went,
doing? The windows down. The kid's like,
I
I'm
know.
10.
Her fucking Roger's spinning.
Yeah.
He's like, what a fucking idiot.
I felt so bad for him.
And apparently, a lot of people get lost here because there was another time a lady was lost, and a Confederate soldier appeared out of nowhere to tell a lady that was lost, "Oh, what you're looking for is over there." She turned to see what he was pointing out, realized that he could not have known what she was looking for, and just as quickly turned back, only to see that he was gone. She described his uniform to a park ranger, ragged, unkempt, floppy hat, barefoot, and the ranger realized she was describing an outfit of a Texas soldier who, by coincidence, were the very same soldiers who fought their way through Devil's Den. And this is a spirit, the same spirit that she described is one that's very well known to interact with the living quite often. The same Texas ghost.
Interesting.
I wonder if
Yeah.
he's the one
Wow.
that they say will tell people, take a picture like right around here. And when they do, that spot where those people were kind of taking over where we couldn't get pictures, when it's printed out or whatever, you're supposed to see that dead soldier.
Oh, that would be
Interesting.
very
Yeah, 'cause-
interesting.
yeah, like
Maybe
the-
not so much now with
yeah.
like iPhones, but back in the day when you
Yeah.
get them like processed.
Yeah.
Like the famous photo is like the sharpshooter like laying dead in that wall, but like they actually dragged his ass there to take the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
guys bitch at us for like wanting our pose pictures. Okay, they were doing that shit even then.
Back in the
And
day.
the ghosts help them.
Yeah. So we throw a couple of leaves up, leave us alone.
That spot's weird too because I don't really know exactly where they're shooting. Like that's not a good like vantage point on anything. Either shooting into the woods on the
Yeah.
south or like going up the way. I'm like that spot just doesn't make sense.
I would have
but-
put all the bodies up on top of the rocks. Like there was a bunch of snipers laying there, and then they're like, "There's a bunch of snipers." Then you fucking flank them.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well, that's what the Confederates tried to do.
they're like, they're dead. They're not going to feel
So-
more bullets hit them.
Yeah.
So what the Confederates tried to do is they tried to go. So Little Round Top was directly below or above Devil's Den, and what the Confederates tried to do was try to go up along around the side through those
In those
woods,
woods.
and they didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then you can also hear around the wooded side of Big Round Top, muffled singing floating through the den, coming out of the dark wooded side. And they are they're southern in nature, they say. And you also hear a
Creepy.
bugles, drums,
That's about we didn't go.
horse
We drove
shouts.
by Big Round Top, but we didn't go to it.
Yeah, that would be really cool
Well-
to hear that.
So wait, they said that the singing was southern in nature.
Yes.
So, like, okay, it's like southern singing.
So I guess they're saying like Confederate. Like
Maybe
Confederate
their
soldiers.
songs
Songs.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
maybe
okay.
like Dixie's.
Oh, okay. Because I'm just kind of like, what?
or
Like-
their accents, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like get along, little doggies, get along. Like that's
Like yeah, like maybe their accents, maybe the songs that are like really popular down there,
Maybe.
Yeah.
maybe some of their ballads. And then another lady in the 1960s claimed to have had her ankle grabbed when she slipped into a crack in one of the boulders in Devil's Den. And when she looked down, it was a ragged Confederate soldier. Oh man, I'd be very
Shit.
happy if somebody pulled me down. I'd be like, "Hey, buddy,
Thank you.
thanks for saying hi."
Thanks. All right.
It's okay if you pulled me down and I
I'd be
sprained an ankle.
Me too. Get the fuck off me, buddy.
I'd be okay with it. I'd be
Just
fine.
like where you hid, like just to kind of get your photo together. Could
Oh,
you imagine how
yeah.
many soldiers kind of tucked in there, or maybe got popped when they were in that
Yeah.
hole? Like you probably stood somewhere where someone probably was
Oh,
shot,
yeah.
or shot and then
All
crawled in
day
there
we
to
probably
hide.
did.
Yeah.
I mean, you could stand anywhere in Gettysburg
Yeah.
and say
Yeah.
that, but yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
there. That could you imagine?
Well, that's the thing that people, I think, people take for granted. Like when you go there and you take your kids and you're doing this, be like, listen, you're walking on literally death.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are.
yeah.
They still, I think, when they were working on the high school or something, they uncovered a mass grave or something.
Yeah, because
Oh,
that's the
did
thing
they?
too. Like I always say, like, all right, like a guy died, and you're like, maybe just I'm insensitive, but this is where I'd be like a shitty soldier because I'd be like, this guy's dead. They're like, all right, tonight when we're fucking not getting shot at, we'll fucking dig a hole, we'll put him in if you really want to. Like, there's nothing we could do for that right
yeah,
now.
you
Like,
got
Yeah.
a lot more on your plate than worrying about
so
that.
it's just like who's the person that goes around and clicks like, oh, this is
Well,
his
that's
tag
what thing.
His
After,
tag says
basically,
Jimmy. Yeah.
Well, what happened for the most part is after the battle ended, the armies both pulled out, and all the people that lived there were like, "What the fuck?"
yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
They're like the bodies were
yeah.
just there, and the townspeople had to deal with it.
One of
Yeah.
the stories they told us on that one in May, and it was about the smell.
Yeah,
How you
well,
could
they could-
smell that to Harrisburg.
Yeah, they said you could smell the stench of death to Harrisburg.
Wow.
And it wasn't
That's
just people; it
insane.
was the horses
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
So
Yeah,
sad.
don't think-
So sad.
So it's just
Wow.
like, at what point do you just like? So you're the people who stuck with that, right? So do you contact family and be like, hey, maybe this is your dude, or you go through his personal belongings?
Yeah,
if
but
they're there?
how?
Exactly.
Right.
Or do you just fucking
text them.
do you just dig a
Well,
hole?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like how many bodies? How
I
many
think
bodies
that
do you think
was-
are buried in those fields still?
I think that was pretty much of okay. You had your roster going into the battle, and these people are not here now. So now they
Yeah.
are accounted for as a
Dude,
casualty of that battle.
If I lived in Gettysburg, I'd move the fuck out. When
Well,
that
I'm
was
just-
over, I'd be like, I'm gonna go.
Like,
Yeah,
so,
I'd be like,
so-
I'm gonna go with like Montana or some shit.
like
Yeah.
how many of those
We don't have
people
that
who-
yet.
yeah, how many of those bodies do you think were fully accounted for, put in a grave that was represented to them, or how many like where do you think in Gettysburg they just dug a big fucking hole and put people in?
I think
plenty
that's
of
what
places.
happened.
Yeah,
I don't think they were identifying
and there
many.
might
Yeah.
be still that ones that they're gonna still be
Because
finding.
there's probably holes that don't even realize is there, and one day
Yeah.
if they go to fucking dig it up or do something, well, obviously they won't because it's all public. Like I mean,
Yeah.
Well, like I said, they
National
found the
parks.
mass grave when I think they were upgrading the field at the high school or something, and
you
they found a mass
imagine
grave.
like one of the field hockey fields or whatever we drove
Yeah.
by. Yeah,
That's so sad.
yeah.
That is.
So like you
All these
you,
families not
you never
knowing
realize
what
like
happened.
how many fucking
Yeah.
bodies are probably anywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, it's basically it's like
Unfinished basements.
you
and
know
houses.
that Joe went
Mhm.
into Gettysburg, but Joe never came out of Gettysburg, and whether they probably counted him as dead, whether
What if he
he's
took
dead
off?
or he deserted.
Just
Yeah.
went AWOL.
Or he
Yeah.
found he found a dame and went out to New York City.
Yeah.
Or he might even
He
be
probably died.
captured.
right?
as,
Could've been.
Well, if he was
Right.
captured, I don't think they were really into executing.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of like trades and stuff for like higher level people and stuff, but like there wasn't so much of like, oh, we captured a bunch of Union
I'm like,
soldiers.
we're going to Gettysburg.
go
I'm like,
execute
all right.
him.
I go like, all right. I'm gonna come to your fucking house. Unless you have a pair of 36, 32s, an extra large T-shirt, and I'm gonna steal your fucking horse, and I'm going to Connecticut.
And let's see, we weren't
go.
at Little Round Top or the Triangle Field.
We were at
right?
Little Round
Is
Top.
there?
Oh, were we? Okay. I'm not really good with.
That's where the castle is.
Oh, that's where the castle
So
is.
Big Round Top is, it's not
Overlook
like Little
Devil's
Round
Den.
Top. No, Little Round Top is over that. Big Round Top, we drove through that to get to Little Round Top.
Okay.
Is that where
It's
the
more of
tower?
a hiking trail.
Yeah.
Is that
yeah,
the
like-
tower?
No, there's no tower or anything there. It's more rocks and stuff, but it's more like if you have like time to hike it. There's like it's like a hike up the mountain, and Big Round Top is like kind of more
It's
like
not
a
as, like,
a camp.
picturesque.
Yeah, it's more like a camp than it is like anything else.
Oh, okay. Because where's the tower at that we were gonna stop at? You know?
That was on the Confederate line. When we came through the Confederate line, it was right at the
Yeah.
end there. It was the observation tower that you could see the whole battlefield.
I would
Okay.
love
It's
to do
really
the
pretty.
horseback ride.
Yeah,
I
that'd
wanna
be
do that
fan-
so
that'd be
bad.
awesome.
I would say bike ride,
Yes.
but I don't think Heidi can ride a bike.
I don't want to. I'd rather do the horse.
The
I'd
horse
do
would
it the
be
way
better.
that they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love horses. I would ride a horse all day.
It'd be
Ride
one
it
of
into town or ride it to the wineries or like just fill us up.
Yeah.
I would-
Got,
I
like
would-
a canteen
Yeah.
and be like,
the-
fill
I
up
would
with
love
Paris,
to do.
please.
I would love to do it. I don't know if they would do it that early though, but like right like at like when the sun's
Dawn?
like rising and stuff.
They
and-
might. I can look into
Oh my
that.
God.
That'd probably be a tough
I
time
would
to
just
get it.
bawl my eyes out. Are you
I
kidding me? On
know.
horseback with my friends and the sun is rising over
Oh,
Gettysburg.
one of the
I'm gonna look up. I'm
one
gonna
of the
look that into it.
officers in this
love that.
battle also has premonitions. Young Hazlitt had a premonition. This would be his last fight. General Stephen Weed was shot near the summit of Little Round Top, and when Hazlitt bent over Weed to receive a last message, the premonition came true. And then
Wow.
26-year-old Vincent would be mortally wounded
Strong
too,
Vincent.
suffering.
Is it Strong
Yeah.
Vincent? Yeah,
yeah.
it must be.
Yeah,
And then he would
he
be
has like
mo-
a grave on Little Round Top.
It's got some mutton
Wow.
chops too.
suffering 5 days before succumbing to his
Yeah.
wound. Yeah.
Oh
Then
my
there's like
goodness.
I
That's
thought
a
that
great name.
yeah they have good
Strong
names.
Vincent.
I love that. What a band name. Called
yeah,
it
right.
Yeah.
Strong Vincent.
Dibs.
That's our rap name.
That's our rap group.
It's too close to Saint
Yeah.
Vincent.
I thought that was interesting.
Thug
that he had
life.
No, it's
premonitions.
Strong Vincent. I was
Okay.
wondering if there's any about Blue Boy in there because Nikolai, when you mentioned the orphanage and the kid that ran
Yeah,
away,
that's what we didn't talk about yet.
Oh.
I didn't get to the town yet. There's a whole section on
Oh,
the town.
okay.
Yeah, we're only in the battlefield still. Not to
'Cause-
cut anybody off. I just want to share that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you want to tell the blue boy?
I can do that. Well, I think I looked it up, but you were saying about that made me think. I don't think we weren't near the college, were we?
No.
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 But Blue Boy is allegedly a kid that ran away from the orphanage
Okay.
because of how they were treated. And he ran to the college, as a girls' college. And it says, as the tale goes, one wintry night, a boy was fleeing abuse at the local orphanage and only made it as far as Gettysburg. And the sympathetic girls let him into the dormitory for the night. And the headmistress was going on her rounds. They wanted to hide him, so they put him out on the windowsill. And, of course, it was winter. So now it said let's see. He perched on the windowsill, and the headmistress talked to the girls, inspecting the room for over an hour. When they went out to look for him, after they left, all they saw were footprints in the snow below. So now it said that people see a blue-faced boy outside of the window in Stevens Hall. Sometimes the words "help me" can be written backwards on the frosted window panes. I remember like somebody telling me this when I was like, I don't know, 4th grade or something. I'm freaking terrified of
Yeah.
seeing that. I mean, like at my own house.
Yeah.
This is pretty
Oh my
interesting. So I just did a Google search. This is how unreliable the fucking internet is. So I wrote
No.
total deaths in Battle of Gettysburg, right? So the very first fucking thing where it pulls up like a website says 7,058 died at right? And then it says people also ask how many deaths in the Battle of Gettysburg, right?
Mm-hmm.
46,000 to 51,000. It's not even close. To the
No.
You know, there's another battle we could go to. My brother just was there, and we went there. Like I think Andy and I started.
and 5,000 horses died.
Oh.
I knew that would get you.
What a dick.
So like history.net says 7,058 were fatalities,
Oh.
3,155 were Union, 3,903 were Confederate, another 3,264 had been wounded.
But is that counting people that died of infection and all
That's
stuff,
what
or
I'm
is it
thinking.
just
Maybe
dead on field?
maybe those 33,264 that were wounded then succumbed to their injuries, but it just says
wonder how
7,000
many
people died.
People didn't die.
That's interesting.
They do have a stone for Weed and Hazlitt for some reason. I think they're saying that you can see their spirits there. And it's a very interesting stone.
So, and then a quick thing here says
Yeah.
the top 6 most haunted places in Gettysburg. So, one is number 1 is the Jenny Wade House.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is the haunted
Don't talk
orphanage.
about Jenny Wade at all.
The third is the covered bridge.
Sex.
Sucks. Then it's Devil's Den, the Doubleday Inn, and then the Gettysburg College.
Surprised Cashtown's not listed on there.
I don't.
Yeah,
That's
Cashtown's
slightly
in here.
outside.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And another guy who was killed has a whole avenue. It's like a wooded path somewhere that supposedly is haunted. And Chamberlain was a Confederate soldier that they talked about in here. It's a different. They talk just about how he died in this book.
I just pull up another one. The Drummer Boy Camp Resort. It says right about the Drummer Boy Camp Resort is literally like a scene out of Evil Dead.
I saw that when I was looking stuff up too.
It's like a log cabin, dude. I want to fucking.
Let's go.
I don't care
I would
where it
stay.
is.
Don't read
I
any
just,
weird books you find.
I just want to fucking. I want to find.
Like Nikolai and I have like an Evil Dead like
I have a-
bonding over the weekend.
Yeah.
There
Oh,
is
he's
a-
dead.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
I would love to find. It doesn't have to be haunted or anything, but I would just love to find like a cabin, and just like rent it for the weekend and go up and stay in a
We
cabin.
can definitely do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I do
Like
that.
Airbnbs
Like,
have a bunch
like
of.
Oh,
everything
yeah.
about
we got
that-
a really cool one in the Poconos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything
I would-
about that is just like
yeah.
fucking horror movie. Don't do it, but it's just I think it'd be fun.
Well,
It says as long as there's no. Books
And then we
found in
watch
flesh.
Evil Dead in a
Nah.
spooky cabin at
Fuck
night.
yeah.
And then we film our own horror movie there.
it's funny that you say that though, because last year when my friends from Jersey came in, they rented a cabin on Friday the 13th weekend.
Oh, fun.
I believe you can rent the Evil Dead cabin.
What?
Oh, that's cool.
I think so. I
Where's
could be
that
wrong.
at?
I don't know if it exists anymore. There's in North Carolina.
There is a farm that's supposedly investigated.
We've
or,
tried to break into
haunted.
Camp Crystal Lake
Rose-
several times and it
Rose
didn't
Farm?
work out.
Rose
Mhm.
Farm.
Yeah, it looks
Hmm.
pretty.
That's a fun trip though.
Rose Farm is supposedly
Oh, that looks
haunted.
beautiful.
Yeah, it does.
I'd stay there.
Yeah.
I feel like any house that's like we pass is haunted. Everything has
Yeah.
to be.
You know, when we were looking for places to stay in Gettysburg, like there is a like chalet you could rent. It's like $200 and some bucks a night. It's like 20 miles away, but it's
No.
like ridiculous.
I think it was more than that.
No, it was fairly cheap for
Oh,
what
because
it
that's
was.
not bad.
Yeah, no, it was
There
for what
was-
it was super cheap.
When we were driving, I didn't really feel anything or whatnot, but there was one spot that we were driving through, going through the monuments where it was just like the really old, the really old colonial houses. Like that's anywhere in Gettysburg. But I mean, like there was this one particular spot when we walked in, it was almost like I hit a wall and I was like, oh, shit.
Really?
And then we got to a certain spot and I was just like, oh, okay. I forget where it was, but it was like, holy shit.
So, all right, Gettysburg. Everything else there?
No, it's just a few other places. It says the ghost of Gettysburg headquarters is haunted, and then it talks about a few places at the college. But
Yeah.
it does tell you that if you go to the college, they do have their own police force, and they do.
Most colleges do.
Yeah, they do. They're not security; they're actual police.
Mhm.
Shit, never mind.
Yeah, so they do patrol, so you have to watch out for that.
Yeah, I got not talked to, but I had a conversation with Bloomsburg one time.
Oh.
Yeah, I got
I'm
Listen
talking
here,
to.
son.
a little talking to.
Listen here, you little shit.
I was like, why is it so fucking difficult to park at this goddamn college? I paid as much as Heidi did in tuition and fucking parking tickets at the college every time I
It's
went
like
to visit.
fucking Penn State.
The worst. It's like you can't fucking go anywhere. It sucked.
I probably have like
didn't-
3 warrants for my arrest in Penn State for
Um,
parking tickets.
yeah.
I think
So
you're okay.
overall, man, I know it wasn't like we obviously going in there we didn't have a crazy but that's kind of that may happen with this
okay, yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to places and we're gonna be honest. We're not gonna come back and
We're not
bullshit
ghost
you
hunters.
and be like, oh, we went there and we seen. Yeah, I mean, overall, if you're interested if you're into the history, if you want to go on, just have a great day of walking around. Like it's just the exercise is beautiful. The fucking town's cool to go to. All the shops in town are cool.
And this was just round 1.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's several other production companies that do ghost walks in town, and like when the weather gets nicer, like in like spring or summer, we can go back.
Shit,
Yeah.
I'd go
It'll
in
be
the
Gettysburg
winter.
Part
I'd go
2.
anytime.
It's just a matter of I don't know
Yeah.
if they run in the winter.
Yeah, I think they
Gettysburg and
do.
Jim
Yeah.
Thorpe are going to be 2 locations that you're going to see us do multiple
Man.
times.
All the
my
time.
Well, we've
goodness.
already been invited to do like a annual thing every year at the prison.
prison.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
That's
what's
amazing.
too is like where we're at. Like we could do like Antietam in Maryland,
I
which
was
is
just
like
gonna
That's
say
cool.
that
the
bloodiest
bloody day of the Civil Wars in
Yes,
Antietam,
yes.
Maryland.
I was just gonna say that.
Which also has a brewing company, which your dad brought us to the Bang of Beers. Though.
Sold. And then what's the other thing for Gettysburg I wanted to say?
The haunted things, the
Yeah,
museum.
the haunted
yes.
attractions.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
yes.
That
Yeah,
sounds
the-
like it's gonna work out.
all the restaurants were cool. I mean, everything about it was just a good time. Like I
really was.
I really look forward to it.
And it's even much more cooler when during non-COVID times.
But I'll
too.
say,
Yes.
like, of all the places we've been to during COVID,
This is one
Gettysburg
of the
has
best
been the
ones, yeah.
easiest places to go and actually still have a good time.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be
I
honest.
agree.
If we were to go back, I would do it at the beginning of fall. I think
Yes,
it'd
with
be
the
perfect.
trees.
Well, not even that. Just it's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's like
Yeah.
I want that
Yeah.
perfect.
Honestly, around the same time that we went to Jim Thorpe. I mean, it was
Yes.
like
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
was
Well,
perfect.
we went in June?
May, June.
May,
yeah.
June was really nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Because it's like cool at night, but it's not like
super
cold.
hot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then during the day, it wasn't super hot.
Yeah. So I mean, it was fun,
Perfect.
and I mean, I hope we didn't come across like we were bashing anybody, but no, we had a
We're
great
not.
time. Everyone we met was super cool. Just like I said, we're very open minded. Well, I'm very open minded with stuff, but
We had a
I'm
good
also
time.
gonna be skeptic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something we're gonna definitely gonna go back if we can. Like I said, if we can find a building that will rent to an entire group and do it, that'd be fucking dope. We'll try that out.
That's so cool.
Maybe reach out to more places now that it's like we could have done that. Like so, my goal was now that we have the footage from Jim Thorpe and we did I felt we did a good job with, and we send that footage to be like, hey, this is like Jim Thorpe. We went to Jim Thorpe and we were more disrespectful. Check out our footage. Can we do the same thing there? But the only problem is with COVID, like it just I feel awkward reaching out to places, and then we're going to these places, and they're like, we want to, but these restrictions. So I'm just kind of taking it's like the worst time, but best time maybe to start podcasting on this thing. But
Yeah.
but it is what it is. So it was a fun overall experience. I'm super glad we got to do it as a big group. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Unfortunately,
That's a good
Andy
time.
couldn't be there with us. So it was a bummer.
Yeah.
We missed him.
But it was, I guess, the first time for you to hang out with the podcast for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, you've hung out with Andy and Not Cool before, but like
Yeah.
welcoming in you into the full swing of things.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So we'll get into the plugs here. Tori, what do you got?
Just my logos and art and my tarot reading and
She has
stuff.
438 logos coming.
Yeah.
Woo!
439 now.
Yeah.
Well, that said, this is maybe just a hint, plug, maybe. If you were to be a monster or a cryptid or something, what would you pick?
I don't know. I have to think about it.
Well, think quick. And you think of that question too. Anything else you want to plug? Besides your
Not Cool.
Instagram.
Well, Not Cool in High School podcast. 'cause
Yeah.
Now I'm on there too.
Mhm.
Yay.
Bringing the love. I love it.
Mhm.
She's literally become the identity. She's creating the podcast identity, which is super cool because her art's fantastic. So
Yes,
if
it
you
is.
It
if
really
you
is good.
yourself want art, it doesn't even have to be for a podcast or a band or anything. If you want it for your
Super
business,
talented.
if you want
Thanks.
something
That's
for a
good.
gift
Thank
for
you.
somebody, like
For Christmas?
I
is
may
coming.
be getting
Yeah.
a piece of art done for Christmas by her. Like that's like it. Her art's fantastic, and she can take actual images and cartoon you. She could take an image of that you already did and cartoon the background. Like she can make stuff from fucking scratch. She's super talented.
Thank you.
Yeah. So definitely hit her up and
Thanks for bragging for me when I'm
yeah.
too nervous too.
Yeah. I actually want to see a collaboration with you two because you kind of did the first batch of logos and
Yeah.
he's really good with it too. He's good
Super
at that
cool.
stuff.
I can spoof things.
Yeah.
Nice.
The logo spoofer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bree,
I was also gonna just do Not Cool in High School.
why don't you plug what our next episode's going to be?
Oh yes, so our next episode is going to be with my old high school teacher. His name is John Soyster. He has several books out. You can find them on Amazon. He will talk about old film and compare them to today's film. He's a brilliant writer. He's a brilliant person and a kind person. I would check him out with all his collaborators. He will be coming on our show. And he did get back to me about a movie. He has asked us to talk about Old Invisible Man to New Invisible Man.
I mean,
Interesting.
Interesting.
perfect. I
Oh.
love it.
Yes.
Interesting.
He is a very wonderful person. I think everybody will really enjoy him. He will be on our next one.
I'm excited. I'm even more excited now because I haven't seen the original one in so long, and I haven't seen the new one yet. So
Is that what we're doing after the podcast?
if you want to, I'll watch it.
Yes,
I have nothing to do.
Yeah, he's a great person. I'm excited to have him on the
That's
show,
cool.
and he is excited to be here with all of
Yeah.
us.
Quick
So,
question. Any relation to Nancy Soyster?
yes, that is his wife.
Okay, 'cause she was our when I was in the high school in Blue Mountain High School. She was our secretary for a while.
Yes.
Hilarious woman.
She is
Mm.
very kind.
Every
as
time I
well.
would walk in,
Very
because she had a
kind.
New York accent. Every time I would walk in, she'd be like, "Oh, hello, what are we doing here today?" And I was just
Yes.
like, you know.
They are from New York.
Yeah.
Yes, and they have 3 wonderful children too. That I
Nice. Yeah.
they're a lovely family. I'm very
Yeah,
happy
Nancy
to
was
know
always
them all.
so wonderful and sarcastic and hilarious. So.
Yes, they are
Love
all
that.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Nikolai, what do you got?
Nothing. Knoxville High School. There we
Yeah.
go. That's, I'm here now.
Yeah.
That's what I got to plug.
Yeah. So welcome, Nikolai, to your first episode.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome.
The next episode we're going to be doing, this isn't my plug, I'm just putting it out there, is going to be, I'm not sure the date yet, but we're going to be joined by Tori's mom.
My mom.
Tori's mom's going to join us,
Yay,
and we're going to talk about
Wendy.
the Philadelphia
Lovely.
Project.
Yep.
So
Nice.
I'll give you what the details are, and then we'll talk about it on the podcast. But literally what they're talking about with the Philadelphia Project is they were developing possible new technology to make things invisible or to teleportation things from one spot to another. And they tried it on a battleship in Philadelphia, and it teleported from Philadelphia to New Jersey,
Something along those lines.
and then came back to Philadelphia, and people have accounted seeing the green-blue glow that emitted from it, and when it came back, there was guys stuck inside walls, and they were
Do you want
fused
the
together.
fly?
Huh?
Do you want the fly?
Yeah.
That's how you get the fly.
Yeah.
So this happened World War One-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
Right?
yeah. Don't get your hopes up. The skeptic is coming.
Yeah,
Oh, my
well,
mom's gonna
they're
love
up.
it.
Yeah.
They just went across the river to Camden.
That's all they did.
I want to say something
And
so
then
bad,
they
but I'm
shelled
not.
Camden.
I'm not going to say it. Wait for the
Cloaking
episode.
device.
Wait for the
Yeah.
episode. But yeah, that's going to be our next episode. I'm excited. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
So did you guys put any thought in or something you would like to be, or if
I'm
you,
gonna have to think about it off camera.
okay, well,
Like,
you
I
Rich.
can't off the top of mine, unless Rich knows what she wants to be.
I don't know.
Like it could be a cryptid monster. So if you have a favorite monster, or
I just like ghouls.
I
or
can
like
make you a
ghost,
ghoul.
Little green ghouls. Yeah.
oh,
I
like
can make you a little green ghoul. ghost.
Magnets.
magnets.
People's knees.
Um,
Just make me Charlie.
It's like a zombie
Like a
Charlie
lady
Day.
Charlie, yeah.
um,
Wraith.
yeah. Rich, you have anything to plug?
Well, I was thinking no, and then I thought
do.
My hillside benefit, Sensi benefit. I guess can I link that on?
When
here?
is
Yeah,
yeah?
well,
When is
send it
this?
to him
When
and
is
he'll
that
link
over?
it.
end
It's
of the
at
month.
the end of the month. So I sell Sensi. I'm not really great at it, but I sell Sensi.
She
and
does it
think
so
you
we get
do
a
fine.
discount.
No, I don't know how I started doing it, but all the proceeds, like 100% of what I make from this, will go to Hillside. So, and we're up to like $1,300.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So-
oh my gosh.
So this is airing on Thanksgiving, so you have a very short time to do so. So if you listen,
Go for it.
Well, that's true.
instead of running
You'll
to
have
Black
4
Friday,
days.
instead of running to Black Friday and giving your money to Walmart and Best Buy and all those great
Mhm.
places, I know the deals are great, but help the puppos out and all the doggos and
Yeah.
cats and all their animals. We do have a shit ton of blankets and quilts and stuff we're not using anymore. But the only problem is we've been super lazy and busy, a little bit of both. So we have to wash them. We want to take them to like a washing and like
Yeah.
a thing. So if you and Heidi want to make it like a date to go to a laundromat,
Yes.
and then
And then to the SBC,
And
and
then-
then we bring some dogs home.
No.
we have to get
4
a,
more cats home.
we have to get
Yeah.
a fence first before we get another dog.
Oh, we'll get some cats. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I don't want a
We'll,
cat.
we'll just go like
Yeah.
pet some cats.
Well,
Yeah.
I see cats. I'm like, man, I would probably want a cat, but it has to be a cool cat. And then I think, where the fuck do I put the litter box? I don't know where I'd
Wherever.
put it.
Under the
Anywhere.
podcast table.
Anywhere.
Huh?
Under the podcast table.
No, because I
What's
don't.
that
Like,
smell?
like,
I'm allergic. No.
Put it in the bathroom.
I don't want it. My bathroom's already small enough. I don't want it.
Listen, I will figure this out for you. This is what I do.
No, I don't want. I don't
Rich
think
is a cat broker.
I'm a cat broker, dog broker.
I,
We'll figure it
I
out.
don't think I want a cat.
Lots of rooms. upstairs.
I don't think I did.
Cats
I
are
think
the
he went
shit,
two.
man.
I don't. No, I definitely don't want to.
Mm,
Yeah.
Some-
Definitely don't want
I
to.
love
You can't
cats.
just have one. That's
Then,
weird.
then we'll
I'm
just have
kidding.
0.
And we'll have 2 dogs.
the
Um,
more cats we get, the less cats I like.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
So before this episode comes out, you're gonna see this. Do put it on put it on any of the community pages.
Yeah.
I made you. You're the only person beside. I mean, Billy's gonna be helping out, but you're the only person I think beside my parents, because I think my parents they were gonna do the invite thing, but I think Facebook took it down for now. Like you can't invite your friends
Yeah.
list
I
again.
can't find
Fucking
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I
stupid.
tried to
Fucking
find
suck.
it.
They took it
Can't
off.
fucking stand
Yeah,
Facebook.
you're not getting likes unless you're paying us for them, pretty much. Just chopping our fucking knees out. But you're the only person who's not technically on the podcast every week who has admin access to all of the pages.
Special.
Yeah,
You
so
are
so you are
special.
more than welcome to post them on any of those
Okay.
pages.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
will. Thank you.
Yeah.
What do you got? to
What do you
plug?
got?
Do you?
Nothing. Well, I'm working on the. I'm making progress on the Bang of Beers theme. So
Yeah,
that's
and you're
gonna
also
be-
on that podcast.
Yeah, I'm on that podcast. So we got that. I guess I got that to plug. Go watch
Yeah.
that every Friday, Sundays sometimes maybe.
We got
What
we
about
got
your band?
Yeah.
Band still writing with Faith. Maybe we'll get something out sometime. Hands resist. I don't know what's going on there, but
COVID happened.
yeah, COVID happened. I have some vocals I got to get done yet, and it's not working out for me. So we'll see what happens. But there's stuff coming along.
Yeah, you
Nice.
guys got to link up for that Bang and Bears thing. So
Yeah, we are.
and then just check out the rest of stuff on the network. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us.
Yes.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Listening to this on the way to or from someone's house.
Eat
Drive.
lots of turkey.
Or while
Yeah.
you're taking your turkey coma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
That's good.
safe. Enjoy yourselves. We'll see you guys at the beginning of. Well, is this technically the last week or the last episode? No, we're going to have a. You're going to see on this Friday on Bang. I'm trying to plug ahead as if it's happening the next day. This Friday we're going to be live on Banging Beers. We're going to be doing what you would call Blackout Friday.
That's all the high ABVs.
Oh, so that's like your Black Friday is blackout. I got
It's going to be now, the first annual.
Oh,
So you may have to drop him off that night.
No, we're gonna be out. I am not.
We are not gonna be around.
Sorry.
Oh.
You can stay here.
All right, you're crashing on the couch that night.
All right.
Or Heidi will take you home. We'll
That's
figure
cool.
something out.
And then
That
I
works.
can buy as much as I want. He won't see it. I can hide it.
Yeah, right.
So that'll be on tomorrow. Well, this is gonna come out Thursday, so that'll be tomorrow on Black Friday. We're gonna have Blackout Friday. We're gonna have high ABVs, maybe some aged bottles, and we'll be wrapping up our last bit of pumpkin beers. So we'll sneak those in between these other monstrosities. We'll be drinking beers from also from Warhorse Brewing Company. That we
Nice.
got some Warhorse stuff, and they have some pretty high ABV. So that's happening. And then starting next week, the first week of December, this show will no longer be on Thursdays. None of the shows will be on Thursdays anymore. We're moving them. So we're going to start recording them on Friday nights. So Friday nights is where you're going to find Not Cool in High School, Truth Behind Illusion, and Tornado Tag rotating again. And then Bangin' Beers is officially moving to Sundays. So you'll see the first episode of, I think we agreed it's going to be Not Cool in High School on December 4th. And then
Yes.
December 6th is going to be the premiere on Sundays of Bang and Beers podcast.
Cool.
Yep.
Yep.
So a lot of cool stuff happened with the network, and the reason that's all happening is I got a new job, and I'm excited about it. And we had to
Yay,
switch
woo.
things around because not working since March has been fucking crazy.
What do you mean?
Um,
You work every day.
Huh?
You work every day.
I work
on your
yeah,
hobby.
this doesn't pay my bills though.
One day.
Not
One
yet.
day.
One day. But yeah, so yeah, I'll work there just for the discount, like you sell her sensei. Yeah.
It's the only reason I'm married to Andrew still.
She married me before that.
Still, I said.
Okay.
But yeah, and what else we have? Is there anything else exciting for November? Just trying to look here quick. What today's? Well, when this comes out, we'll already have spent our anniversary. Happy anniversary to Tornado Tag Podcast. That'll be the 18th. 2 years
Wow.
anniversary. 2 year anniversary
Wow.
for Tornado Tag Podcast.
Exciting.
Interviews with Everyday People was on the 12th. 2 years of interviews with Everyday People,
That's
and the
awesome.
podcast made its debut on November 3rd.
So exciting.
So yeah, we're hitting 2 years, and then December 2nd will be the 2 year anniversary of Not Cool in High School.
so
Things
exciting.
that were not
That's
cool in high
awesome.
school.
Things that were not cool in
Yeah.
high school. The name changed.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the only podcast the name changed.
And
Yep.
then for the 1 year for TBI, we're getting a tattoo. I'm getting a tattoo of my alien.
Oh,
That's
that's so
awesome.
cute.
Well, you can get your alien, but that's not what we agreed on.
No, what did we agree on?
We're all gonna put our names in a hat. We're each gonna draw a name out, and you have to get the person on the show's their logo tattooed on you.
Oh, that's right.
I love that. That's cool.
I love that a lot.
So one of us is gonna have the other one's face on them.
if I get
Nikolai's
if I get
not
yours,
gonna do it.
If I get yours, I'm gonna put it right on my left ass cheek, not my right ass cheek, because my left ass cheek is my less favorite of my ass cheeks.
As long as I'm somewhere, I don't care. Yeah, I always want Heidi to get a butt tattoo. I won't say. I'll segue into that. So, Heidi, the reason Kira Bishop had a tattoo. She had like a little tattoo sheet, and it was a little piece of pizza, and it was winking, and it said "Slice to meet ya." And I said that would be a great butt tattoo. Like not like the bottom of your butt, maybe just like the top. So like if you can kind of like
Nice to meet you.
show it off, or like if you're wearing a bikini, you would see it a little bit. And it'd just be funny to have a little tattoo of a
Piece
like
of
a pizza
pizza.
on your butt. And it said "Slice to meet you."
No go. She won't do it.
Nah, well, someone took it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't want something
Yeah.
that somebody else already did. But yeah, so Truth Behind Illusion, we're out of here.
Peace.
We don't know what they're getting yet, but when they
they'll get something.
finally tell us what they're gonna be,
You can't make me think on the fly like
yeah.
that.
And then I'm not sure if you're aware of this. You guys follow the pages a lot, but because of your guest, you will get a guest logo, and then you can buy yourself on your own T-shirt.
Ooh, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna make Richard wear it.
You're gonna wear each other on each other's shirts like a couple shirt.
No one for my brother and make him wear
Oh.
my face.
Yeah.
He won't do that.
What I don't know why I'm leaning into this because of his logo, but what were the two demons from Hercules?
Pain and Panic.
Yeah, Pain and Panic.
Pain and
Yeah.
Panic.
Turn them into Pain and Panic.
What about in Beetlejuice? What if it's Barbara and
Oh, yeah.
my
what the fuck's his
God.
name?
Yeah, but I don't
Adam.
want to wear glasses.
You do wear. Your eyes are probably the worst of anybody's
Yeah,
here.
I don't want to wear glasses. I don't want to. I don't want to be Alec Baldwin either.
Not IRL.
That's
but-
true.
God damn it, Lemon.
You could be the ghost of James Bond. Sean Connery, you could be raising your hand to the wrist.
There you go.
Damn it.
Hey, that's Sean Connery. That's not James Bond.
We'll see you guys next time. Truth Behind
Peace.
Illusion. We're out of here.
Bye. Bye, guys.
The truth behind illusion. When you are walking down a dark road, when you don't believe what you see, when your eyes deceive you and play tricks on you. When you see an unfamiliar face in